Trump's press conference yesterday gave some insight into what his second term is going to look like, and it seems to be cause for celebration. It was a freewheeling presser without any notes or a teleprompter, and he didn't have any approved lists of reporters or pre-written questions. You can tell because he, of course, got a lot of questions like this.
Are you entertaining the idea of preemptive strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities?
Yes.
Against Iran's nuclear facilities?
Well, I can't tell you that. I mean, it's a wonderful question, but am I going to do preemptive strikes? Why would I say that? Can you imagine if I said yes or no? You'd say, that was strange that he answered that way. Am I going to do preemptive strikes on Iran? Is that a serious question? How could I answer a question like that?
Yeah, how could he answer a question like that?
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 1,000 cities around the world. We just finished 16 years of broadcast excellence, now in our 17th year. The Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. Trump's second go at being elected president is hugely different than his first time. It was and will be maybe forever the worst and illegal treatment of a president in our history. As now awakened by Trump's toughness, his fights both with lying politicians trying to impeach him, then downright evil prosecutors stripping him of his wealth and lying through their teeth. This man faced the ultimate insult from these rats. He's had at least 3 assassination attempts, one where it seemed that God saved his life when a bullet aimed at his brain was miraculously moved to his right ear. After the Secret Service on stage jumped on him to avoid more bullets as blood from his right ear landing on his right thumb and his big right toe, he arose amongst the crowd and the SS to stand up on his bloodied body with his fist pumping while shouting, "Fight, fight, fight." This finally broke the left, the rhinos, the blacks, Hispanics, Asians, women, old people, young people. They all started wearing red MAGA hats. And instead of shaming or attacking Trump lovers, this show is dedicated to reveal the truth. And I believe we have done a good job with it. As Mark Zuckerberg, an outrageous Trump hater in the past, said after Trump was shot in the ear and got up to fight, he said, "Trump, what a badass."
Trump also demonstrated the art of the deal with the diminutive CEO of SoftBank, who just pledged a $100 billion investment in the United States. Now, what do you think Trump said to that? That sounds good enough? Not quite.
Would you make it $200 billion? I said, he can, believe it or not, he can actually afford to do that. Would you do that?
Well, my promise is 100, but he's now asking to do more. I will try to make it happen.
That's good.
All right.
200. He'll make it. 200 million investment.
He is a great negotiator.
He is. Trump drives a harder bargain with Japan than Godzilla.
All right, that's Tom Shalhoub, who sat in for Gutfeld, and I thought he did a marvelous job. We got a great show today. First of all, let me introduce you to Santa's wife. I didn't know you were married to somebody else. My wife, dressed in her little, is that like an elf costume or what?
I'd say it's a Mrs. Claus dress.
Mrs. Claus dress.
Yeah, that'd be mine.
So you've been cheating with Santa on me?
You know, you were Santa 1 year.
Well, that's 1 year,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I haven't been called
Let's not
back.
forget that.
I got tired of Jewish Santas, apparently.
No,
I don't
you
know.
have not been called back.
Yeah, I'm not. No call back there, but she's dressed like a little elf and Santa's wife, which is cute. I can go home and we can tonight. I could put the beard on. What do you think? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Never mind. Never
Oh,
mind.
okay,
What do you know?
whatever.
What do you know from funny? Okay. Anyways, I'm here with J.P. Maxwell, the producer of the show,
Yep. Good morning, everybody.
and Rick Henderson is at home, and he does all the bits and the clips, all the funny stuff, and all the. I mean, this Gutfield show that Shalhoub did was absolutely perfect for what I wanted to get across this morning. I didn't cover half of the stuff that I wanted to cover in the monologue because I try to keep it a little bit short because I got a whole show to do that in. I got great guests. I guess like John Jeffrey. Let me see. What's his name again? Oh, Bradshaw. I forgot it last week. And Chris Adamo, Mark and Pat McCluskey, Don Mayhew, and Jeff Zink. We're still getting a lot of information about Jeff Zink. You know, he's been appointed. Well, he's very close to being appointed to Health and Human Resources for to be the Assistant Secretary to Kennedy, to Robert F. Kennedy. So, and before I let go of any of that, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Play some more clips. Play 2 more clips because I want to get through most of these because they're really good.
And Trump wasn't happy with the news that the Biden administration is auctioning off pieces of his border wall for pennies on the dollar. But is it very powerful steel? Is it very hard steel?
It's very powerful steel. It's very hard steel. It's a special type of steel, but very, very hard to cut inside the steel. And then we put a anti-climb plate on the top. You saw that. And I didn't like the look of it. But then when I watched, we had people testing. We had mountain climbers actually testing. And they were not able to get over the anti-climb plate. So I said, all right, I guess we're going to put it on. That plate on top, which I never loved the look of it, but it works so unbelievably well, you have to do it.
Yes, you do. By the way, Judge Janine purchased some of that wall just to keep Greg from her stash of Activia.
We'll take a look at TikTok. You know, I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok because I won youth by 34 points. And there are those that say that TikTok has something to do with that. Now, Joe Rogan did, and some of the other people that were recommended by my son Barron, he knew names. I said, who is that? Tell me, who's that? Dad, you got to be kidding. I can't believe you don't know. And I did those interviews, and it was actually sort of cute.
The media has been fear-mongering about Trump's plans for RFK Jr., saying he wants to, quote, bring back polio, which is basically this year's he's telling us to drink bleach. But does he think you're going to find that Bobby is a very rational guy?
I think you're going to find that Bobby is a very rational guy. I found him to be very rational. No, nothing, you're not going to lose the polio vaccine. That's not going to happen.
Now, you know, I'm wondering how many mountain climbers died on that dropping from that metal plate all the way down, you know, off the top of the wall. I mean, I wonder if he has stats on that. What do you think? You think he might have stats on that?
I would doubt it. It would be interesting if they did, but I doubt it.
But you're getting the sense of something here, and that is that this president-elect is amazingly into it so much that now he is when something goes wrong, they blame Trump, but he's not the president yet. You still have that idiot, Joe Biden, who everybody now knows was sick his whole time as the president. All right, well, I've got my next guest, or first guest, I might say. He is leading off today like he usually does when the rabbi is able to do it a little later. But this gentleman, he is he's 256 years old. He's got a better memory than mine, apparently, because I goofed up his name last week. Sorry about that, JJ. And anyways, he is he's the expert on the Justice report, and he's a man who has been around since the Revolutionary War, and he's about to tell us what's going on today, because you got a lot of people saying Elon Musk is now the president. Okay, so please welcome all the way from Rolla, Missouri, John Jeffrey Bradshaw. I got it.
Yeah, good job. Thank you, Dave.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I am fine. I had
Great.
to do a little last minute scrambling on my show prep today,
How come?
but I came in here prepared to talk about the continuing resolution
Yes.
that has been kicking
What
around.
is a continuing resolution?
Well, let's talk about the House of Representatives for a moment. The Constitution mandates that the House come up with the funding and the budgeting for this country. And the way the Constitution reads, that budgeting has to provide for the national defense, pay our just bills, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this thing has grown over the years as it's been corrupted. And our Congress has been very neglect for decades and decades about coming up with a reasonable budget. The founding fathers saw this as a fairly simple process. You get a bill that comes in, Congress says, yep, let's pay that bill, not much to it. But this thing has grown to be a bloated, disastrous mess. This last budget bill was ginned up over a 2-week period. 2 weeks, Dave. I take longer than that to budget my meager salary. And this monstrosity was 1,500.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
This monstrosity was 1,574 pages, much of it garbage. They want to refund or continue to fund the Global Engagement Center, which is the censorship arm of the Democrat Party. They want to give pay raises to themselves and improve their medical care. Now, there was money in that thing for disaster relief and some other notable good things. But Dave, it doesn't take 1,574 pages to outline that stuff. And this was just a ton of garbage thrown in by Republicans and Democrats both. And this was supposedly a compromise bicameral bill.
Let me say this. Some of the Republicans said it wasn't strict enough. And
some of the Republicans are rhinos, and frankly, they ought to be booted out of office.
They're used to doing this every. They don't want the aggravation. They say one thing and Trump, we'll follow Trump, and then they just, they drop it when the election's over.
Well, Dave, Trump is not yet president, but this thing was a little Easter egg for his upcoming presidency. In this bill was a piece of legislation to increase the debt limit, which sadly, I'm afraid is going to happen because our government spends money like a drunken sailor in Bangkok. Okay, this thing comes along. Musk reads it. Vivek reads it. Vivek tore it to pieces. And the three of them said, this is garbage. You guys can come up with something better than this. This thing should never have seen the light of day, much less be voted on. Well, this abomination went down in flames. Now, you know, these guys have got a plan B. They've always got a plan B. So they come up with another little quickie that was 116 pages and a stripped down version of the monstrosity. They went down in flames. 174 congressmen voted for it, 235 voted against it, along party lines for the most part. So unless some Hail Mary miracle comes along, our government will shut down at midnight tonight. Well, is that a bad thing? As a far right-wing radical, no, that's not a bad thing. Our government functions best when it's shut down because they do less damage.
Well, here's my question. You've got a guy that won the House, the Senate, and a overwhelming record-setting general election. Why the hell should he have to give in to anything?
Well, he's not president yet, Dave.
Well, he's going to be very
soon. The fact is, Congress approached this thing as the business as usual garbage like they've been doing for decades. And for a change, they have somebody like Vivek and Elon who actually reads this garbage and said, wait a minute, this does nothing for the American people. This lines the pocket of special interest groups.
Yeah, and I think they have a real problem with the fact that they're asking for a big raise in their salaries. JJ, can you hear me?
Well, Dave, this should be. I can now. This should be a wake-up call for the members of our Congress that the citizens of this country are not going to stand for this BS business as usual like they've been doing. If you look at this continuing resolution, this looked an awful lot like an omnibus budget bill. 1,500 plus pages. Give me a break. All this thing does is fund the government through March. So you want to shut her down, shut her down. Now, let's talk about the stain on the Biden administration as a result of this thing. The last thing Democrats want on the record is a government shutdown in the last few days of Biden's thoroughly discredited and stained executive branch. They don't want that in the worst sort of way. And the Democrat leadership, who frankly are pretty far left, negotiated this stinker of a bill with the leadership of the Republicans, who are frankly pretty inept. Johnson may lose his job over this thing, and perhaps rightfully so.
They don't get it. I don't know. I don't understand what the message was that Johnson was using to go along with them in the first place. But you saw McCarthy burned out in it. He gave it all away. And now Johnson's apparently doing the same thing. And now he's been corrected. But it's now Trump's bag, and he has a lot of weapons with him, especially with what you mentioned with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. How's that?
Hey, you actually pronounced it right. You can't remember my name, but you got the picture.
Yeah, I was only testing you to see if you remembered your name.
Oh, I still
you don't believe that, do you? I'd give me crickets on that one. I don't know. That was pretty bad.
So,
I was thinking about that one all week. How do I weasel out of this? I'll blame it on him, for God's sake. I've learned enough about politics. That's what you do. You blame it on the other person. Musk could run for speaker. Why? Because you don't have to be a member of Congress to do it. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Frankly, I doubt the Republicans would go for that because in their eyes, he's way too radical. Now, this is the one guy in D.C. that actually has some common sense, knows how to run a business. So this business as usual method that both sides use to gin up this nasty, stinking piece of legislation, a steaming bucket of feces, the public and the new congressman said, nope, not going to happen. Now, an aside to that, there has been a flurry of activity in emails and telephone calls to the congressional offices of angry voters saying, we didn't put you up here for this garbage. We put you up here to represent us. They have set record number of phone calls in the House of outraged citizens calling their representatives saying, what the hell?
A lot of them are Democrats.
Well, of course.
They're from both sides, all races.
And one of the things that Musk said was people that support this sort of thing, representatives, 2 years from now need to be primaried. Boot them out.
That's right.
Well, we need to take care of business long before 2 years from now. But I think what the rank and file Republicans and Democrats in the Congress are seeing is that there's an awful lot of their constituents that are saying, you better do something right here, boy, or we're going to kick your dumb butt to the curb. Good. That needed to happen.
Yeah.
Now, back to Biden. Biden is inheriting a lose-lose situation. If they pass some sort of continuing resolution, which is a giveaway, like they all are, pork gets thrown in there by every guy in the Congress.
Pork and raises in your salary. When the American public
there's
is
a bunch of people that don't deserve a pay raise. They ought to be working for minimum wage or less, judging by their performance. So Biden inherits this stain no matter which way this thing goes. Now, Trump inherits a mess. He has got an unstable budget. He just had the Fed cut the rates another 0.25%. I could go on about that little disaster as well, but this is an untenable situation, and it's got a drop dead date of midnight tonight.
Yep.
So my opinion, and I guess you have me on here to hear my opinion, is go ahead, shut her down. Shut her down, leave her shut down. People say, oh my God, a government shutdown, the world's going to end. Well, no, it happened in 2019. It's happened again and again and again and again. Essential services keep on going. Air traffic controllers don't get paid, but they keep right on working because they know when this is done, they're going to get their money. It's not like we shut down our military and shut down all the highways and say, well, we're out of business now. It doesn't work that way. Essential services continue. So this political ploy, and that's all this is, Dave, is a cheap political ploy by the powers that be to try to torpedo Trump's presidency as he comes in. I would expect no less from the Democrats.
Neither would I.
I would expect no less from the rhinos.
Well, I would expect a lot. I would expect finally the rhinos to get into line and stop lying to their constituents, because they got a powerful president who has now been elected, and their constituents, I don't think are be as tolerant as even the Democrats are of this.
Way less tolerant, Dave. The flavor of this has changed radically since Trump won the presidency. I think the Democrats were rather surprised. Now, their inside circle were probably saying, yeah, I'm afraid Kamala's going to lose, because it's obvious. It's obvious. But they put on a good show, and the DNC was saying, oh, this is too close to call, and yeah, she's going to make it. Well, she didn't.
Well,
And
there was
Trump
a lot of
won by
lying.
a sweeping
Did you see the story from Iowa, where they had just 2 or 3 days before the election, suddenly she had a 13-point lead, and I think he won by 6 points. They're suing him, by the way.
Trump has filed a lawsuit over that, and perhaps rightfully so. This looks to me like a pretty naked attempt to torpedo the last few hours of the election.
No doubt.
So, these folks have pulled out all the stops. They're using all the dirty tricks. You and I have talked about an October surprise, which didn't occur. It ended up being a December surprise with all the pardons. And now the Dems are kicking around the potential of pardoning all the January 6th committee. And I bet Liz Cheney is relieved if that happens, because afraid she got caught with her panties at her knees on this thing, and it's provable. So Dave, we live in interesting times here. This,
Yeah.
if you look at this from the outside, you say, well, it's business as usual. They do this every year. They're down to the wire on getting a continuing resolution. And in fact, a continuing resolution, when I was a young man, was considered emergency measures.
Right.
Now it's business as usual. The Congress is required to come up with a budget. The Senate then approves it or negotiates back and forth with it until they get something that's tenable. President signs it into law. That's the way the founding fathers had intended, but they never intended for a bill to be 1,574 pages of legal gobbledygook that's filled with so much pork you could start a barbecue joint over this stuff. It just amazes me that we have degenerated this far, and we have allowed our elected representatives to degenerate this far. I think the Trump and Vivek and the Elon Musk team is going to strip an awful lot of that stuff away. And, every incoming administration talks about transparency. Yeah. Obama said his was going to be the most transparent administration in the history of the United States. Joe Biden said very much the same thing. Yeah. And all of these things were done behind closed doors. You never knew what was going on until a result popped up. And frankly, the results were always something that did not improve the life of the citizens of the United States. Let's talk about this 1,500-page piece of garbage for a moment. You know who writes this stuff?
They're not elected. Not elected people.
Lobbyists.
Lobbyists.
The majority of this stuff is written by
lobbyists and bureaucrats.
And bureaucrats who are in the pocket of the lobbyists.
Right. Exactly.
So is a congressman actually writing these bills? No. Has not been for decades.
And if you look at the time of release of the bill, especially Obamacare, nobody had time to read it. I mean, that was like 2,500 pages, and Pelosi said, you know what? Well, we'll have to vote on the bill in order to see it. Remember that?
Yeah. What she said was, you're going to have to vote on the bill before you can read it.
And it passed.
Well, because Pelosi was a slimy bit of dirtbag. The fact that she got away with that, the fact she got away with that just kills me. There should have been rioting in the streets over that, because that is an elected representative and, in fact, Speaker of the House. For you to pull a smoke and mirrors stunt like that, this thing, they said, you're going to have 72 hours to read it. I speed read, Dave. I can't read 1,574 pages in 72 hours. Well, maybe if I took a bunch of drugs and stayed up, but give me a break. Now, you got congressional staffers that supposedly read this stuff, although I suspect they are as inept as their bosses at doing these things. So this thing gets flushed right on through the system. I thank my Lord in heaven that this slimy piece of garbage did not pass. I was a little surprised that the 116-page version of this was not even given adequate consideration. I can read 116 pages in about 20 minutes.
Yep.
I'm sure there are people in the Congress that can do that.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody read it. This was along party lines. We had a few Republicans that bailed on it. This thing was dead on arrival. So what happens now? Do they come up with another last-ditch piece of legislation? Maybe pare it down to 100 pages? Maybe take some of the garbage out of it? I don't know.
Well, they did make progress. They did take a lot of stuff out of it, but the Democrats right now are sticking to their guns. I don't know if they are, though. I think they're getting a lot of pressure, and it's not like the old days. It's not like 2016.
Oh, I think they're going to vote. The Dems are going to vote as a bloc, Dave. They've been conditioned to do that for so many years.
Yeah, well, we chipped
one of
away
the
at
things
that
that's
block.
wrong with the Republican Party, Dave, is they're fractious. There are actually a few actually independent thinkers in that litter of bozos. But the Dems are going to vote in lockstep. The Republicans are going to be fractious. I think it's going to remain that way until Donald J. Trump takes the helm. Now,
Okay.
a few days into the new year, the Congress reconvenes and we start getting some action done by the new folks.
Right.
I know the pressure is tremendous on these folks, and I am not envious of them. But think about it. You guys brought this on yourselves. You ruled as a ruling elite, didn't pay much attention to us bozos out here in the heartland. And now I think you're going to have to pay the price for it. I think Vivek and Elon are going to hold your feet to the fire. This new budget, that 1,574 page abomination, would have increased. Let me see, where is it in my notes? Would have increased 7% on last year's GDP. What that amounts to, the $2 trillion in cuts that Vivek and Elon are talking about. 1.7 trillion was all the discretionary spending for last year. So they're talking about potentially cuts beyond what the discretionary spending was. Well, how about discretionary spending? Some of this stuff is absolute garbage. I mentioned the Global Engagement Center. That is the Democrats' arm within the federal government of censorship. And Elon and Vivek have both said censorship needs to go away. And frankly, if you're one of those outfits that has colluded with a corrupt federal government and performed censorship, for example, COVID, for example, the Trump presidency, you're going to have a hard time surviving. Why? Because we have so many independent news organizations now that are actually willing to tell the truth. And when they give you opinion, they actually label it as opinion. My, isn't that a novel thought?
Yeah, things have changed.
I think these things are going to change.
And it takes a little patience. I mean, it was predictable what the Democrats did. Predictable. If I was a Democrat, I probably would have said, let's go for it anyways and see what happens, right?
Yeah, that's
the worst I can say is no. And so I understand that. But now we have to understand what our position is. Our position has changed dramatically. Trump has a lot more. Trump has oodles of power. He's got all these executives coming from all over the world, and Trudeau and Macron, and he's going. I mean, it's amazing. They're all kissing his ring. All right.
Yeah, I think they're
Everybody sees that. Everybody sees that. When he went to Notre Dame, all the politicians from all over the world there were just staring at him. Even Dr. Biden, Biden's wife was staring at him.
Did you see that look that she gave him? That was a look of admiration.
Yes,
and I never expected that out of Joe Biden.
Things have changed. Things have changed, and we need we need to take advantage. Sort of like Israel with the constantly mowing the lawn BS, which I always said was BS. You know, once you are given a situation like you did on October the 7th, you're at war until you kill every one of them. Every single one of them. And to hell with the rest, you know, and you either give our hostages back or you're all going to die.
Benjamin Netanyahu is
they believe it now. They believe it now, but that was important to know. They didn't know it back in October 7th. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have done it. They should have known. They should have known that should you go too far, we're going to nail you. And they should have done it sooner, but okay. We all know what it is now.
Previous prime ministers of Israel have always bowed to the United States influence, right or wrong, I suspect wrong. The United States has always pressured Israel to be the moderate state, even though that they're fighting guerrilla warfare with totally unmoderated states. You know, a terrorist doesn't give a big hoot what your politics are. They want to kill you. So Netanyahu has done I think he's going to go down in history as one of the best prime ministers in the history of the world. because he has the kahunas to say, nope, we're going to fight this war our way.
Yeah.
We're going to lose some soldiers and some civilians. That's a given. It's war. You kill people and break things.
That's right.
We're not going to stop until there isn't one of these terrorists left breathing. Good for you, Benjamin. I think you're doing the righteous thing. And frankly, I think God is on your side.
All right. You better clear up your language because Jean Bradshaw is listening and she's watching.
I hope she's not engaging in censorship. Roy Maddox.
All right. Good morning from Oklahoma. Merry Christmas to all. Thank you, Roy. Merry Christmas to you and yours. And here's a blue dog there.
That's Buddy Love.
Dog, buddy.
No, I saw it.
Okay.
I saw it.
Listen, I got to get going. I got another interview, don't I? At 8:40. Yeah. All right. Listen, my friend, this has been a lot of fun. Had you back as the opening act. Thank you so much, John Jeffrey Bradshaw. Merry Christmas.
It's been my pleasure, Dave. I will talk with you next Friday.
All right. It's not going to happen. I'm going to be off for the next 2 weeks.
Goodness.
It's hard for me to even say that.
Very well. How about the Friday after that?
Yeah. Well, the Friday, 2 weeks.
June 10th.
Yeah.
June 10th.
January.
Yeah, June 10th. Thanks for that. Thanks for throwing that out. January 10th. All right.
That'll work.
Away. I can't say where.
Has been my pleasure, Dave. Good day.
All right. As always, it's been my pleasure. The pleasure is mine. Don't try to take all the pleasure because we're both pleasured. All right. Now say, be nice to your wife and have a Merry Christmas.
And the same to you, Dave. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. We need to squeeze some commercials in here. I don't need to squeeze them. I don't need to squeeze it because I have a little break. Yeah, it'll be too tight. So play a couple more of the clips because I want to get as many of these clips in there as possible.
And how about those mysterious drones popping up all over New Jersey and other states up and down the East Coast? Does our military know where they took off from?
Our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense.
Yeah, I don't want the military in my garage. Unless they look like Pete Hegseth. Yeah. But all in all, it was an hour-long tour de force. And now Trump seems to be clearing a path to actually govern. So we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but do we finally have a reason to be optimistic about making America great again? I hope so.
He went over an hour, and I don't know if you felt the same way. There were times where I had to remind myself that he is not president yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? It kind of feels like he is the president. People say it's like he's acting president. And you can see it actually seeping into the mentality even of the people who hate him, where I'm seeing on social media, like friends and strangers blaming Trump for things that are happening now.
Yeah.
Like, he's not president. It's still your guy. I think Biden's going to do this at some point. He's like, my successor has done fill in the blank. It's like, dude, you are in office for the next, 35 days? And people are just over it. They've skipped ahead. He just doesn't have the authority yet.
It's so true. I mean, we all kind of feel that way. We're feeling optimistic, right, Joe?
Sure.
And so I saw you were kind of laughing along with this presser with those clips. He does have a great sense of comic timing. Would you say he's a colleague of yours in the world of stand-up comedy?
Trump is really funny, and it's a good contrast to when Biden used to say some nonsense and then go, no joke. And people would say, yeah, that wasn't a joke.
Yeah, well,
no one
exactly.
thinks you're joking. I think you can tell he's got the press on their heels because the gotcha questions are getting more and more ridiculous. This, Mr. President, do you have any secret plans you can fill us in on right now? If you bomb Tehran, will you send them a save the date email first? Like, and now you have this relationship where we can say to him, like, that's a stupid question. Why are you wasting our time with that? I like that it's such a contrast, like Guy said, that you see people moaning about why doesn't Trump do something about it? Because he hasn't taken over yet.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I see somebody staring at me saying, am I supposed to be here this early or what? Anyways, he's a conservative, anti-socialism, elite pizza lover, understands what forget about it means, and he's an expert on Marxism, the expert for the Dave Weinbaum Show. Please welcome Chris Adamo. And also, he is the author of Rules for Defeating Radicals.
Yeah, I had to bring my mic over here. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you great. This thing has a habit of shutting down all of a sudden. Oh, there's my book. Thank you. Sorry.
There's your
A little
book. Yes,
disorganized
sir.
this morning. You
All
got
right.
me up early, Dave, and I wasn't really sure that you meant it when you said 8:40. I mean, this is kind of early, but
You know what? You're
anyway.
taking the rabbi's spot, basically.
Well, I hope the rabbi is doing well.
Huh? Are
I
you
hope
okay?
The rabbi is doing well. We need to hear from him.
Well, yeah, but he was traveling today.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. You know, that happens about 3 or 4 times a year where he has to go and talk
Well,
to.
safe travels to him. He's definitely eyes on the ground. We need that. So
sometimes he stays at my house even.
Oh,
yeah. So I have my wife who's a Christian minister, and then I have a rabbi staying with us. It's a little weird. Let me tell
so
you.
I won't bring over the pepperoni pizza while he's there. I'll make
You know
that
what?
promise.
I got somebody gave me a the gal that cleans her house couple times once a week, and my wife has this big sword for being a minister.
The sword of
from,
truth. Okay, good.
The church out here that she got it from. I mean, this thing is huge. It's the sword of Solomon, right? And one of her duties is to get Jews like me to become Christians, okay, and to believe in Jesus and all that, and it's fine. But I get a little nervous with that sword around there. So yesterday, I get something it looks like it's like a shield. It says, what does it say? The laundry room on it, right, honey?
What?
It says the laundry room.
Yes, it does.
Yes. Pretend like you're not paying attention now.
I'm sorry. I'm looking for information for your show.
This is about you. And so I try to include you on all the good and bad stuff.
Yes, the laundry room sign is great.
Yes, it's a laundry, but it looks like a big shield that I can use in case she ever gets mad at me and comes at me with this huge sword. I don't even know how she picks it up. It's so heavy. Anyways, so what do you want to talk about there, Chris?
Well, I got several things to go, but last time we spoke, you said you had several questions for me that we didn't get to, and so I thought, if you want to go through those first, otherwise I got a bunch here.
Well, Trump to Senator Warren. Pocahontas can play political games and send toothless letters, but Trump-Vance transition will continue to be held to the highest ethical legal standards possible, a standard unfamiliar to a career politician whose societal impact is
1024th.
Yeah, 1024th of Elon Musk's.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think of that?
Oh, I loved it. I loved that. Came from Donald Trump Jr., I believe, originally. But there's something going on here, and I'm so happy that our side is handling it that way. Let me give you a totally different headline, but points to the same thing. Okay, New York's corrupt governor Hochul, who she's a leftist Democrat, she presided over that entire fiasco, that entire just criminal endeavor of a trial there in Manhattan. And she put out a statement, I believe just yesterday, that she will consider pardoning Trump if he shows remorse. Okay, now that trial was a sham. That trial was an absolute disgrace of anything we could call justice. It was done specifically.
I would get her investigated and indicted so quick as soon as
absolutely.
Trump gets there. Number one, well, he's got other stuff to do, but
oh yeah, he's got a long list to do. You're absolutely right.
He's got to nail her butt too, because
that's the alternative. Here's the thing now. In the past, these Democrats have gotten away with this. What she is actually saying, if you read between the lines, what she's saying is, we're going to get caught for the total disgrace of legality and justice that whole sham trial was. We're going to get caught. Yeah. Excuse me. But if we can get Trump to say that it was that he shows remorse, he's sorry about what he did, he'll validate the whole thing. He'll give the whole thing credence. Okay, so this is what maybe he's willing to sell his integrity for the sake of a cheap pardon. Okay, this is a desperate attempt on her part. Thankfully,
I mean, is she not looking at what Trump is doing now with the budget?
Oh yeah, she's looking at that, and believe me, she is scared to death of it. So if
they're all scared to death,
this is a desperate attempt to gain credibility, because the alternative is that if he doesn't show remorse or do something to give her sham trial credibility, then she's got to either put up or shut up. And she knows that if the actual facts of the whole situation come out, she's dead meat. She's her goose is cooked, whatever you want to say. The thing is with these people is that they will go down fighting with this kind of stuff. In the past, it has worked. If this was Jeb Bush in there or Mike Pence, this kind of thing, well, okay, I'll show remorse. I'm sorry that I did something that made you mad. Exactly. Please give me my pardon. Trump isn't doing that, and God bless him, he shouldn't do that.
He can't do that.
Right.
He couldn't mentally do it. He couldn't wrap himself around to do it.
And he shouldn't do it. That's the thing. So many of the other Republicans did.
You brought up Governor Hochul. Let's talk about Mayor Adams, who is now thinking about becoming a Republican. Why? Because he went through this. He's going through the same lawfare thing that Trump has gone through and is going through still. Although it's getting to be finding people that are going to try him is almost gone because of look what happened to Fannie yesterday.
Oh yeah, this is exactly what happens when we stand. This is if there's something we could put in, letters of fire on a piece of granite somewhere. If you stand for the truth in the face of these onslaughts will fall apart. And by the way, you can put my book up there if you want, because this is the main premise.
My guy went out. I'll get it back up.
Already.
But this was the main premise.
Rules for defeating radicals by this gentleman.
Alinsky's rules for radicals only work on those who allow it. So if they attack you with something and you go on the defensive and try to play nice and apologize, you've just validated the attack.
Remember these words: up yours. Up yours. I'm not doing it.
And they're not standing for it. And this is every issue we're facing right now. Do you know what the latest coast to coast DNC fake news narrative is right now? Is Elon Musk is running the government. Yeah. Elon Musk is the biggest threat to democracy. He's running the government. Now, tell me something. Elon Musk is encouraging people to support a president-elect who's not officially in office yet. How can any of them be running the government? What these people are actually screaming is the citizens have awakened and opened their eyes to what a bunch of scum the Democrats are, and the Democrats can't handle that. So they've got to turn it into that this is an attack on democracy, as if what we've seen from the Democrats for the last 4 years, the last 40 years, has been anything about governing with the consent of the governed.
It might have been a better move for the Democrats, who, you think they'd get it by now, to go to Trump and say, let's make a trade here. Let's get everybody on the 1-6, all these people in jail. Let's get them out of there, and let's get them paid whatever it is we need to pay them.
Which you and I are paying that bill, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's true too. But no, let them pay it. I'm talking about as in them personally paying it. And maybe we could talk. Maybe. Consider.
That would be a good plan, except what you're presuming there that we've always got to recognize is not going to happen is you're presuming there's anything called good faith among the Democrats. It does not exist.
I didn't say good faith. I didn't say it was good faith. I said weaseling. It's more like weaseling out of a horrible situation that you've done to these people and you've done to this country.
Well, see, but they'd have to be honest about it.
Apologize to everybody.
Yeah, and they would have to be honest about it. They won't do that because, in their book, you listen to them, they're still pushing the idea that everything that they've been doing, everything on the budget this last week that they've been doing has been about for the good of the people. we've talked in the past about that whole FEMA disaster in North Carolina, and you know what the big deal was? If they didn't pass that stinking bloated budget earlier this week, they didn't pass that. Those poor North Carolina people weren't going to get government help. I mean, it's like you hold them up. Those people are being held up as human shields, just the way Hamas does over there in the Middle East. And
these guys are demanding a big pay raise.
And there's what's his name, Mike Johnson. There he is in there stumping for the whole thing the whole time, instead of saying this is an atrocity.
Mike McCarthy, he's got 30 Republicans voting against Trump right now.
Yeah,
and Elon Musk came out and said, you know what, these people need to be primaried.
Right,
now,
and these 38 Republicans are betraying America.
You don't think Donald Trump had something to do with that? Of course he did.
Yeah. And so I'll tell you what's really going on is that the left is seeing what conservative America, which is the majority of America, what we can actually do when we finally dig in our heels and say, you know what, we're going to fight for this country and its future. They're scared to death because there's a day of reckoning coming, and it isn't even here yet, and they're being hung out to dry, and they're scared to death.
I know. And we can't, and that's, you have to know where you stand, if you stand somewhere that's not very prestigious, if everybody's against you, you might want to step back a little bit just to reorganize how you're going to fight this. But you got to put it away.
If everybody is for you, if everybody's for you and you're standing for the right thing, and I come along and I make an accusation against you that, hey, you're the only one that feels this way, and you fall for that, you've just empowered me. And this is how they've done it to us for so long. And that house of cards is crumbling. And that's, again, the graphic on the front of my book there. The house of cards is crumbling because the minute we stand up to these people, this is what happens. But think about it, Dave. I could come up with any accusation in the world I want against you. And if I say it and your first response is to apologize for it, you've just validated it. You know what, Dave? People get food poisoning at your McDonald's. And you come out and you say, oh, well, I'm sorry if people got food poisoning. Everybody believes it. And by the way, everybody, Dave's McDonald's does not give anybody food poisoning. He serves good food there. Okay. So just so you know that. But
thanks for that. Thanks for bringing that up, by the way.
So the point is that anything you say about somebody, if they immediately apologize, then they're validating it. Okay. Yeah, it must be real because he's apologizing. And this is the box that they force the conservatives into. And for decades, the conservatives have been just reflexively just going right into it and saying, yep, we're sorry. We didn't mean to be such mean people. We're not trying to be mean-spirited.
They call him Hitler and they back down.
Yep, exactly.
Well, Bush, Hitler, enormous amount of times. Everybody's Hitler to them. And he sort of like doesn't respond. It just fades away, so to speak.
Well, and they must think I'm mean if they say I'm Hitler. I better be extra nice. And so
what's going to happen to your buddy Cheney? She going to get indicted?
Okay, now see, I corrected the record on McDonald's a minute ago. Now you need to correct the record on my buddy Cheney.
Oh, no. You're going to hear from my lawyer after this show. Oh, no, you're not done yet.
I showed remorse there, and I said, no, you serve good food.
All right. Let's.
Okay, no, Liz Cheney. If Liz Cheney has any knowledge of me, she absolutely detests me. We are not buddies. I don't know that I've actually reached out that far, but I will tell you this:
definitely being comical about that.
Okay, good. Okay, I feel better now.
You feel better? I'm glad.
The whole Wyoming political apparatus has changed, and I'm gonna take a little bit of credit for it because I did a teaching at a Freedom Caucus retreat a little over a year ago, and gave everybody a copy of my book and said read it, and then I got several really good responses, and they've said it actually really bolstered and encouraged them and helped them out. The Wyoming legislature is going to be real, true conservative come this next session for the first time in decades. It's been totally rhino for a long time, and they still got a rhino governor, but they have a near veto-proof majority in the state house, so they could probably overrule him. But what has happened is the same thing, the same exact pattern everywhere. Instead of playing defense, instead of trying to get along, trying to build bridges with the enemy, trying to reach across the aisle, these people finally said, you know what you people are doing is wrong for the state of Wyoming, just like what that bill this week in Congress is wrong for the country. We're not going to meet you halfway. We're not going to be halfway wrong to get along with you. We're going to stand against it because it's wrong. You do that loudly enough, and you win. And let me give you the biggest single myth of our current situation, and this one's got to be broken, and help me any way you can, Dave. We need this, because the number one myth that we face right now that can totally devastate the Republicans is this notion that the Republicans always get blamed for a government shutdown. That's not true. It's the party that backs down and caves when there's been a shutdown.
Right.
That's the party that's going to get blamed. If the Republicans go into this for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, and then they back out, yeah, they'll get blamed. But if they stand fast and they say this, the reason we're not approving this bad budget, the reason we're going after a good budget is here, and the Democrats eventually cave, then it'll be the Democrats that get blamed for it, as they should be.
And it should be, and I couldn't agree with you more. And I'm here sticking to that right now, even though it's early on in the process. I don't think the Democrats can afford to do this. Personally, I think people are, this was an overwhelming good victory for
absolutely
Trump, but for America, because you got a lot of people who would not normally vote for Trump. You had Jewish people, Black people, Asian people, Italian people.
Remember who tipped the vote in Pennsylvania?
Who? What? Yeah. Charlie.
It was the Amish.
It was Scott Pressler that did that.
Okay, and it was the Amish vote in Pennsylvania that totally flipped Pennsylvania.
That's who did that. That's who deserves the credit for it. Yes, and that's the kind of stuff that needs to be done, because it's still dishonest. They're still voting in Arizona, for God's sakes.
Oh yeah, they're still. They counted for over a month in California until they flipped a couple of Republican seats to Democrat.
Is they put a somebody in administration that is a secretary of election
integrity.
Integrity, exactly. That's right. And you know who I would rather see than being with Bobby Kennedy? I'd rather see Jeff Zink do this, because he's really good at this.
Jeff Zink has absolute firsthand experience. He can go right to the heart of the matter, and it needs to be done. And
last week he spent 2 hours with Trump's attorneys on this.
Really?
They didn't know he had this talent. Obviously, they don't listen to this show, but he's like
we're working on that.
Experts on election audits, forensic election audits all over the world, and he knows what's going on.
And this absolutely needs to happen. And here's the other thing. And if you do this, be ready for the firestorm, because the people that are involved with these fraudulent votes, they are committing nothing short of high treason, and they need to be punished as such. And let me explain that, because when you go in,
pointing at me, I'm not the guy that's defending what they're doing. You're saying
you're not a closet liberal. I'm glad to hear that, Dave.
How about everybody ought to?
Yeah.
Instead of just me, Dave Weinbaum. I've got
you've got the torch here. You've got the microphone, and you've got the ability, and you're reaching out.
And I got you on my show.
Yeah. Hey, you need to get me on.
Have you on my show? I'm not afraid.
You know that Matt Gaetz is going to be a host on One America News now. You got me on there with Kara McKinney. Now you need to get me on with Matt Gaetz. And if you do, I'll buy you a pizza.
It's funny you mentioned that, because one time he was in a Senate hearing, and I was sending. Somehow I got messages out to some of these congressmen, and I wrote something that I forgot what it was about, and he read my sentence as a new question verbatim. Okay, so I knew it was mine.
Well, good.
So I got a feel for this guy. But what's he going to say? What's his report going to say? I bet you it's BS.
Well, you need. Oh yeah, that whole thing again. This is a matter of them using that Alinsky strategy to marginalize somebody, and that's what they did to him with this. And the problem here, I'm going to tell you, it's we've had a lot of winning lately, but that was one where our side went on the defensive, hung him out to dry. They put him out as the old Alinsky freeze and isolate your target, and that's what they did to Matt Gaetz, and it worked, unfortunately. And this we need to fight this differently. That should never have happened. If he played spin the bottle in high school, and they're going to make a big deal out of that, let's look at everything else more recent and more severe that everybody else has done. And we don't play that way.
You've got hundreds of thousands of kids in this country from other countries who don't have any parents. There are slaves in this country. There are sex slaves. There's women that are sex slaves. All of this quadrupled millions of people by the Biden administration.
Exactly. The whole Epstein's Island thing,
Damn right.
We've convicted a woman for trafficking to nobody. There's no evidence on the basis of finding the guilty people to whom she trafficked. Well, we know she trafficked people. She's guilty, sure. Who'd she traffic them to? Oh, we don't know. We have to suppress that. We don't know. We absolutely do know, and it's being withheld. It's called obstruction of justice, and they've gotten away with this.
Do an investigation of the connection between the government, and I'm thinking more or less about the Democrats and the cartels. I'm almost like 99% sure that the cartels are connected to the Democrats.
Why do you think the border's raging open the way it is? I mean, absolutely.
Why is Arizona like the way it is?
Yeah.
Who's giving them money?
Yeah, and again, you can see this with you can see all of the members of Congress where they go in and on their $174,000 a year salary, they become a multimillionaire in 3 years, like AOC. Of course, AOC probably did it because she's such a smart investor. She's so intelligent. Yeah, right. So yeah, the criminality.
My God,
the criminality is absolutely rampant. It needs to all be rooted out.
Right. All right. So Trump is treating Musk like a co-president. And Vivek,
neither of them's in office right now.
Huh?
I said neither of them's in office right now.
Yeah,
Musk is going to be the chairman of that Department of Government Efficiency, and they're going to scream about that. Trump is president-elect. The only thing he is actually able to legally do right now is exert diplomatic pressure, shall we call it that? And so they're screaming about this as if something illegal has been done here. No, the only reason Trump and Elon Musk are able to exert such pressure on the system is because they have the backing of the people.
Yeah, exactly, and that's huge.
It is absolutely enormous.
You have to know that, and you have to know when things are against you, but you have to know when things are for you, and you got to take advantage of it.
And this is this is new territory for us, unfortunately, because
listen, I look at Israel like that. I look at Israel and after the Holocaust, after 2,000 years of being slaves in different countries, they got back into Israel with God's help, I believe.
Absolutely, no other way it could have happened.
But they weren't demanding enough. They weren't. They pretended like they were peaceniks, and they were, because they were afraid. They weren't bold. All right.
Well, they were trying to get along. They were trying to be diplomatic. You're right.
Exactly. But God has now got them so pissed off. They're no longer waiting for the next attack. They've got Iran scared to death. They beat Hezbollah. They're beating Hamas terribly.
Yep.
They got people like Russia thinking about how about Syria? They destroyed Syria. They destroyed it. Okay, that has no navy anymore. They have no air force. So,
and yet you look at the media, the fake news crowd in this country, and what are they saying? They're saying that it's like Israel woke up one day and decided to start killing off Palestinian children. I mean, the what actually happened on October 7th doesn't get discussed, but it's if they drove down a road somewhere and ran a stop sign, we're going to put it on the nightly news.
On this show, you're going to get the truth, and on this show, on October the 6th of 2023, when I had the rabbi talking to me in this spot right now, I said to him, are you guys sure that everything is okay in your intel and your status in terms of getting attacked? And the rabbi, oh yeah, we're in great shape, Dave. Everything is terrific. The United States is helping us. Blah 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 blah. I said, well, I remember back in the early 1970s, about 50 years ago, when we had this situation called the Yom Kippur War, and that was the same thing they were saying, is that we're great, we're in great shape. Well, we almost lost a country. Then we lost Israel, and who saved it? Richard Nixon, of all people. Richard Nixon. How's that? And so he says, well, Dave, anything can happen, but we think we're in really good shape. 6 hours later is when they attacked.
Yeah, and it was totally, I mean, just the fact that Rabbi had that attitude proves that the attack was totally unprovoked. Because if Israel was poking them in the eye constantly, it'd be like, well, they're going to get mad sooner or later. No, everything seemed fine. No, this was a total unprovoked attack by Hamas, and Israel's response was totally warranted. And since then, the whole media coverage has flipped everything around backwards. You'd think that Hamas was just sitting there having a garden party, and Israel showed up and started killing off people. The way it's discussed, it's the Israelis committing genocide against Hamas. This is how they do everything. Thankfully, Netanyahu, in the same manner, refuses in any way to sacrifice his people on the altar of phony diplomacy. And so he's not doing this. He's saying we're going to destroy Hamas. He's stuck with that from the beginning. And I think that you're going to see, as well as they've done to destroy these enemies, I think you're going to see that even stepped up a notch in what would it be? A month from today. It's a matter of standing your ground. If you cede that ground, I don't care how wrongly you were attacked or criticized or whatever, you cede that ground, you validated the attack.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. And it'll go down in history as such. But then again, the history of Jews has not always been truthful. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on that never did. And so there still is anti-Semitism. However, that being said, we're getting along much better with the Christians right now, because the Christians realize that the Muslims aren't just after the Jews. The Muslims are after them too.
Well, let me tell you something else. If and I will stand by this. Anti-Semitism is anti-Christian. It's just that simple. Because you know that guy that we're going to celebrate his birthday here in about 5 days. When he died on the cross, there was a little placard put up above him that said "King of the Jews." Okay, so he was Jewish. Now, okay, that part is, so you can't be. You need a drink?
I put my last cough drop in.
Oh, okay. So you're dealing. Me too. I'm dealing with a little bit of that too. Anyway,
I'm directing my beautiful wife here, who is Mrs. Santa Claus now.
Anyway, if you're anti-Semitic, you're anti-Semitic, you are against God's plan for His chosen people. You know who His chosen people are? You know who what He said to Abraham? His chosen people, They're the Jews. Okay. Now, he did say also to Abraham, through you, all the nations of the world will be blessed. So we get to be grafted in if that time comes and we want to be. But the point is, God's chosen people are the Jews. You can't be a Christian living as Scripture would tell you to live and be an anti-Semite. Now, does that mean that
is in the Quran? The Quran admits that Israel.
Yeah, I'm not even going to trust whatever the Quran says.
The Jews. Well, yeah, but it does say it.
But now also, I will add to that. Does that mean that I'm not opposed to anybody because they're Jewish? No, because there's Jewish leftists, and I'm stridently opposed to them, not because they're Jewish, but because they're leftists. Okay.
Well, hopefully. I mean, you know me. I'm pretty conservative.
Pretty conservative. We're working on you.
Yeah, I'm not as nuts as you are.
Well, I get accused of being buddies with Liz Cheney, so I've got to fight back somehow. Hey, I want to give you one more thing that I want you to keep an eye on.
Yes.
And this, I've heard this. I don't know if it originated from General Michael Flynn, but he's a strong advocate of it. God bless him. You're going to see a huge change in the White House press briefing, because you've got these legacy media, these retreads from people like CNN and stuff like that get, they have an audience of 50 people, and they're sitting in the front of the White House press room because they are the elites, the media elites. And Flynn has advocated this. They're looking at actually putting high volume podcasters in the White House press briefing because there's more people paying attention to them than they are to the so-called mainstream fake news. Yeah. So if you see that and you start seeing actual people reporting to America and connecting with America in that room, instead of the Jim Acostas who get up there and they use it as an opportunity to grandstand and give leftist speeches, you're going to see a total turnaround in the White House press briefings.
Yeah, and Trump likes to go to these press meetings. All right, he they had this gal on TV, MSNBC or something. She was on a podcast, so her last name was Ruhle, Ruhle, and she's a longtime liberal person on MSNBC, always calling Trump a Hitler and this, that, and the other. But she says on this particular day, this is last week, I wanted to see if I could figure out how to contact Donald Trump, maybe interview him. So I called his number, and he answered the phone.
Oh gosh!
She said, "I couldn't believe it. You go to Biden, you got to see 50 people, and then you're probably not going to get it. Yeah. They're going to want to know all the questions, and they're going to want to fix questions for you." He says, "Donald, he answered it and talked to me personally." So when I got back from wherever I'm going the next couple of weeks, I'm going to maybe give him a call. I'm a supporter. I'm a huge supporter. He knows.
He's not afraid of questions because he has answers, and this is the defining difference between right and left. We're not afraid of real, genuine, honest scrutiny. Who are you? What is your policy? What's it about? I can talk about conservatism and why it works. If you look at every leftist government that has ascended to power, what's the first thing they do? The first thing they do is shut down free speech. Why? Because they can't handle genuine scrutiny. Okay, boy, only liars fear the truth.
They have so much done it here, and they're still doing it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, they are. And so our going back to Lisa's sword there, our greatest weapon, the sword of truth. Their greatest fear is that you're going to shine a light on them and point out the darkness and the lies.
My greatest fear is that she's going to get mad at me someday and come at me with it, and I won't know what hit me.
I think if she's put up with you for this long, I think you're pretty safe.
It's only been 11. Well, how long? How many years? Ow! She's already got the whip. For goodness sakes! All right, play the. You got to play it, and then I got to go. All right, huh? No, you know what?
Oh. Yeah.
There you go.
I finally figured out what you were talking about.
Okay. I don't want to get it there. Here, it's right now. Ooh, that tickles. Stop it. No. All right, let's do basketball. I lost my nuts.
I just
damn. We gotta go straight to the basketball now. I think my nuts just dropped off. Oh man, that hurt. Now you're not even looking at it. He hasn't cracked a smile. Look at this guy is weird. You're weird. I swear to God. JP couldn't stop laughing on that one. He's still laughing at it. Why don't you find that funny? Are you there?
I think you're engaged in false accusations. How's that?
Well, you're not even smiling. You're sort of trying to smile, but apparently my humor does not affect you, or you have some kind of ridiculous situation where you don't want to be known as laughing at something.
Well, I laugh at lots of things. I just
what? You don't want to be some guy who's listening to me and just laughing out of the pure nature of something being a little funny. Why?
I'm not sure. Okay, I'll tell you what. If you tell a joke, I'll try and laugh about it.
Well, I'm going to tell you another joke. So what the hell?
Now, how about if you tell a real joke? How about
how about a joke that I wrote?
That's what I mean. How about a real joke instead?
Oh, God. See, this is insulting. I don't insult you. I could insult you for your.
Wait a minute. There may be lightning striking here any minute. When I get accused of being Liz Cheney's buddy, there. So
well, that's a joke. That's not even an accusation.
So you have any more questions for me? Because I got one more thing I wanted to mention. Just
okay. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find you?
Okay, I haven't been writing much lately. I've been writing my commentaries. My book is still available at Amazon, and I'm telling you, the people who follow this are winning. I point to the Wyoming legislature, and maybe some of this has gotten into Congress, but it's like, this is how we don't play their stupid game by their stupid rules. This is how we do it right, and this is how we win. So yeah, it's available at Amazon.
Did you know that nurses make the best insult comics? They know the best places to stick the needles. Ladies and gentlemen, the saddest look I've ever seen. You better give me. You better. This is. Okay. There you go. Did you hear that? Okay.
Okay.
What do you want to say quickly?
Okay. Yeah, we could go through the news events of the day, but the bottom line is that our side has got to not fall into this defensive mode. They're going to try it. The whole media coast to coast right now is trying to tell us that Elon Musk is running the country, which Trump isn't even in office. There's no way this can be going on. The only thing that happened is Elon Musk has a big enough voice to speak the truth and rally the people, and that's what the left hates more than anything. We've got to recognize that an informed, proactive, conservative base can accomplish things. We can defeat this enemy still. And that's what they're scared of. So they're doing everything they can to put us back on defense, because that's the only way they can prevail.
Yeah. And we got to keep reminding them how awful they've been the last 4 years. Even before 4 years, hell, 10 years. They've been awful for 10 years, right from Obama through today. I mean, just horrible. Anyways, thank you so much. Yes.
I would even take it back further than that. But yeah, we're finally rising against it.
Yeah. At least Bill Clinton, of all the bad things he did, at least he straightened out the damn budget with Newt Gingrich that one time. And that was pretty good. You know,
don't get me started. That this whole government shutdown fiasco started with Bill Clinton.
Save it. All right.
Okay.
You have a great weekend, my friend, and I do mean that. I consider you a friend, and just because you're a smart guy doesn't mean I have to say everything like you want to hear it. Sometimes it's not. It's going to be a little different. Okay.
I will buy you a pizza when we're together. I'll buy you a pizza. We'll just sit down and break bread together.
I want to taste test it first by you.
If it's not the best pizza you've ever tasted, I'll pay for it double.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here I got one word for you. forget about it. Okay? There you go. All right. Thank you so much, Chris Adamo.
God bless. Have
Now,
a great
you got
weekend.
applause there. All right. Have a great weekend. Merry Christmas. A little slow on the Merry Christmas, but what the hell? Okay, we got commercials to do. My gosh. All right, go to where my sponsors are, please. I'm begging you. Hit it.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper. Fresh savings every day. ACAR Real Estate where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the #1 sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have.
Gotta reach 'em, see it right now.
Insurance going up like crazy. Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
Maybe it's for a kitchen you've always wanted. Maybe it's just to have a little extra room. Whatever the reason you're considering a new home loan, it's good to know that Town & Country Bank will guide you in the right direction. Our experienced local lenders are here to help you with a new home construction, remodeling projects, and fixed and adjustable rate home loans. You can even start the process online by clicking Online Mortgage Center at tcbanks.com. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Can you imagine if I answered that question? Because if it was Biden, he would have answered it somehow.
Yeah.
In a way that he would have just picked one. Like he would have just picked either yes or no, babbled off about something else, and then his team would have had to clean it up. Like this major geopolitical statement would have made it.
Yeah.
Until we got to the point where we stopped taking anything that he had to say seriously. Where he's the leader of the free world, but he just said, remember, I knew this was years ago, but when he said he had cancer, everyone's like, you couldn't possibly think he said he meant he actually had cancer. When he said that, it's like, okay. This is insane, that we can't take this person at their word anymore. So I thought it was fun to watch too. And I think that the way he answered it was kind of enough of the zinger, but he wasn't outright mean. He wasn't actually outright really mean to anybody. It was like, oh, that was too much, too far. Just looked like he was having a good time. He was having a good time.
Yeah, he was kind of rolling with the Tyrus. And you've interviewed him. Did you see him in what was the word he liked to use? He said the weave. He was doing the weave a lot in this press conference.
You have to give and I hate saying this, but you have to give the media a break. They haven't been able to ask a question in 3.5 years.
Forgot how.
Yeah.
So that guy was so excited. He was like, I'm going to ask the best question I have.
Yeah.
Like, sir, are you planning to bomb Iran? Because before they would be like, sir, are you happy today? What's the card say? Yes, you are. I mean, that's so. And Katz, what Biden would have said is he would have started to say something like, "Oh no, I'm gonna get in trouble."
Yeah,
I'm gonna get in trouble, and that further lets you know he's not running the country.
Yeah,
like he came back from his press conference, and there was someone waiting with a wooden spoon. Were we talking out of turn again? How many times has Pelosi told you not to talk to the press?
All right, we're back. We got some news about Biden. He's trying to sell the steel from the material at pennies on the dollar that were supposed to be used for the wall, and they think this is illegal. I mean, why is he doing that? For goodness sakes! And they're still trying to they're giving out pardons to illegal aliens and commuting their sentences, and if they could, they'd still let them in the country. Why don't they get this? Okay, that's over. Stop it. Now you're gonna force the country to look for most of these people, not all. I'm sure they're going to allow some to stay. But as you can tell from Aurora, Colorado, which is a suburb of Denver, Colorado, where I went to college and lived for a couple years, you see that this is a huge problem. You have these Venezuelan gangs. They're not only taking over apartment complexes, they actually went into some woman's house and removed her fingernails and harassed everyone else. It was terrorism right off the bat. Terrorism, okay? And speaking of terrorism, I've got to get my next guest. Holy cow, is that Santa Claus? I wonder. Anyways, oh, this is so great. Okay, so here we go. We've got two of my favorite people who were harassed and who were set upon on their own house by who are they? They're like 350 BLM Antifas, ran by ex-Congresswoman Carly Bush, who then were adopted by Tucker Carlson for a while. I don't know how that's going, but please welcome to the show, Mark and Pat McCluskey. And it's so nice to see Pat for a change.
Yeah.
All right. Now, my wife is dressed as she's dressed as Mrs. Claus.
Oh, okay.
That's sweet. Stand up, honey, because you got the little stockings too.
Oh my.
Yeah, how about that?
How much did he pay you to do that?
Yeah, and you're dressed with what? This is this a MAGA outfit?
You know, this is my. I have one red jacket, one green jacket. I get to wear them one day a year. You know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make the most of it.
But you got a green tie.
I do have a green.
So
tie.
the jacket and the tie make you celebrating Christmas.
Absolutely.
Outfit. I don't know how that relates to Christmas, though, Pat.
I don't know. No, it doesn't. She looks like an Easter egg. She's just a little ahead of her time.
A little ahead of her time. Well, she's with you, so I guess you'll catch up eventually, won't you?
Yeah. We're on Greg Kelly's show a couple of weeks ago where he was put us on because the McCloskey's endorsed Donald Trump for president right the week before the election. And I know his dad's a fashion horse, right? And clothes horse. And so at the end of the interview, while we're still on the air, I said, your dad taught me one thing. And he got this shocked look on his face, like, what's he going to say? My dad said,
because he's a big Democrat.
And I said, your dad always taught me to wear a nice tie.
Did you see that journalist? Her last name is Ruel, and she works for MSNBC, I think. And on a podcast, she says, I just decided I was going to try to get a hold of Trump. So I dialed his phone number. She said, of all the things I've ever done, I thought that was probably the silliest. He answered. He answered. Donald Trump answered this journalist on the first or second ring. She didn't get the interview, but she was amazed that she actually. Well, she was calling him. I don't know. Yet. I'm calling him when I get back. I'm going away I'm taking a couple weeks off. And
when Trump called us, the number came in 0000000, and you can't redial it. It's just all zeros.
0000000.
00.
Wow. Well, that was during. He was either that or he's a big zero. we know he's not that.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, by the way, just as a prop today, here's our copy of The Art of the Comeback, signed by Donald Trump. He signed this for us in Trump Tower in 1997.
Wow.
1997, The Art of the Comeback.
Yeah.
Wow. That's got to be worth at least $2.95.
Yeah. And I've got a video of him. Our daughter was 7 at the time. She goes up to him and she's waiting in line to meet him at Trump Tower. And she's got this big stuffed animal under her arm and she's dressed for Christmas. And Trump's security guard just bursts out laughing as she goes up and poses with him and then starts giving stage directions. Like, look over here. Now smile so I can take the picture.
Trump did that?
Yeah.
No,
our daughter did that too.
Your daughter. Okay. That's cute. You got so many stories. Now, okay. So what do you think of what's happening with the Congress, with Elon and Ramaswamy acting like they're presidents, and Trump isn't even president yet, and they're telling Congress what to do.
Yeah, it's just an amazing thing. I mean, at the end of the year, when they always do the cram down, right, when they're always going to push through this hundred billions of dollars of spending so that everybody can get home and stuff their Christmas tree stockings. Elon Musk, an unelected guy, Vivek Ramaswamy, unelected guy, comes in and said, no, you're not going to do that this time. The president doesn't like that. Not the president, but the guy who's going to be president, because right now there's nobody in the White House, right? And everybody says, okay. Right now, what time is it? 9 something right now, 9:30.
Yeah, they're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all of my interviews have covered this in my monologue too. It's just that this is such a different election. Even Trump has noticed that everybody seems to like him all of a sudden. It sort of is confusing to him because he's not used to that. He's used to be getting beaten up and shot at all the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, right from the get-go, even when they came down the escalator at Trump Tower, they went straight to the FISA courts and started, this false election interference.
Yeah.
And they've been doing it for 10 years now.
And I can't remember who it was, but as soon as he hit the bottom of the escalator, some pundit said, impeachment begins now, right?
I don't know. Did they? It wasn't me.
Yes. Some pundit said that. Might even have been a pseudo-elected official. Who knows these things? It's been too many years ago.
Well, somebody
the resilience to be able to withstand all that. Now you're right. Everybody that hated him, Jeff Bezos, Zuckerbucks, all these people are now down there on their hands and knees kissing his ring.
It's amazing. Cook, all the when he went to Notre Dame for the remodel, and you saw all these famous people, Macron and even Dr. Biden, Dr. whatever,
Dr. Jill.
And they're all looking at him. They're all everybody in the room was focused on him.
Yeah,
in Notre Dame, and probably a lot of great Catholics now have turned to him. I don't think he got a lot of Catholic votes before, but now I think he will and did.
Yeah, and Joe Biden's looking at him like he's made out of ice cream the whole time, which is just hard to imagine.
Oh my God! So now that immediately gets me into canceling some things in my mind. All right, and you can imagine what they are. Thank you for those ideas, you dirty old man. You dirty old man. Yes.
Did you see he's selling perfume? Donald Trump is selling perfume.
And gold hats. What is he selling?
And watches.
But
he's selling tickets to go to the to go there.
Yeah,
and
but
all
the
that.
perfume has that picture of Jill Biden looking at him like this will make anybody just love you.
Yeah, this is incredible. It's incredible what's happened. The transition, and to him too, I can imagine so, that the transition from the 2016 debacle, where immediately he was attacked, immediately he was dragged into these phony impeachments, and they kept him dragged down all the time, and then going through the election, where actually people got to the point to where they got sick of this crap, and they started believing in him and seeing what was happening.
Yeah.
And how about Fannie Willis? The poor girl. Oh my! We feel sorry for her. I do.
I think we need to start a new TV program, right? It'll be Fannie Willis, Kim Gardner, and Cori Bush as the biggest losers, right?
What about AOC? You left her out. How dare you?
She hasn't lost yet. We got to make sure she loses, and then we can add her.
She's a big loser. It doesn't matter. She, wins or lose. She is a loser. Loser. All right. What would you do if your daughter, you have a daughter, and if she was in college and she was up against a transgender with male equipment, in a sport, as let's say a basketball or swimmer or thing, and got beat or hurt, plus being forced to go into these locker rooms with a fully grown man who is now naked, and you're naked. I mean, it's incredible. What would you do if that happened?
I was a competitive athlete from the time I was 5 until I was 25, and I keep saying every time I see one of these things, I think even at my advanced age of 68, I bet I could beat half the girls that are around world-class athletes these days.
Really, this is what goes through your mind. Did you know this, Pat? Did you know this?
It's good to know. Thanks. And this is being recorded, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all over the world now. That
it's live. So
it's
yeah.
live. There we go.
But I mean, just the concept, it's just so ridiculous. I mean, and it's so perverse in this country now. You're not even allowed to ask the question. A guy who wants to be competing in women's sports, you're not even allowed. Do you still have your testicles, for example? Do you still have your boy parts? Does Bruce Jenner still have his boy parts? We're not allowed to ask because that's being transphobe. And what if I decide today I'm a girl, but tomorrow I decide I'm a boy again? What if can I do this on a daily basis? How long do I have to pretend to be a girl before I can compete as a girl in college or high school athletics?
Well, this really ticks me off. I don't know about you guys. It must tick you off. It really ticks me off. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
So Riley, you know who Riley Gaines is?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I gave her some money, and she was on Fox News yesterday, I think.
Yep.
And she's talking about this. I was quoting her, but also the head of the NAACP, all the sports there is, men and women. He's not a believer. He believes that the men should be able to go into the women's locker room and play competitively if they claim they're really a woman.
Well, the only historical sport that there has been is what I did, equestrian events. That's man against woman, and you're in there together, and it doesn't matter. But that's the only sport historically that has been men and women together. Otherwise, it just isn't fair.
But you don't have to go. You don't have to go into the locker room.
In the locker room.
They don't want the horses in the locker room.
Well, they allow horses into the locker room? What are you talking about? This is getting way off. Wait a minute. What are we? You're getting
when I was a child,
you shower with horses. This is like a Costner next movie. Shower with horses. Okay.
When I was a youth, my dad was a horseman, and there'd be at the big annual show out at the Brattlesburg Hunt Club. One guy brought his cow in. He trained his cow to jump fences, right? And cows can jump pretty good. And so there was nothing in the rules that said you couldn't jump a cow because nobody ever thought of jumping cows before.
Oh my God. Now we're talking about jumping cows. Everything you say has a comic undertone. Very good, yes, undertone or even overtone. My goodness, that's funny stuff. I'm getting lost here. Louisiana senator, that's his name is Kennedy. I forget his first name, but he's a pretty sharp guy.
Yeah, John Kennedy.
He told the head of the NCAA, this guy's name is Charlie Baker, to go to Amazon and buy himself a spine. What a great line.
Senator John Kennedy was interviewing RFK Jr. yesterday. Wouldn't it be funny to be in that room? We got RFK Jr. being interrogated by John Kennedy.
Yeah, same guy. Same guy, I believe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's related.
No,
he's a Southern boy, but he's got a great wit. I'll tell you that.
He does.
So if Trump wanted you in his cabinet right now, you wouldn't do it. Is that right?
Well, I wouldn't mind being head of ATF. I can tell you that, and I wouldn't mind working with Vivek and Elon and cutting the government.
Okay.
But having to move to DC for even a cabinet level, maybe they. I digress. My mom was instrumental in getting a guy named Jack Buechner, who's recently deceased, elected in the 2nd District back in the 80s when it had been a Democrat stronghold for a long time. And then he didn't get reelected to Congress. So I think G.H.W. Bush appointed him ambassador to Mongolia, right? That's your
That's a great place to be. You know what the best thing about that is? That really not a good thing, but when they had the uprisings in northern China, it was a Mongolian beef. You You're cueing me. That's original joke, by the way.
Wait, wait. Here's another softball.
anyways, this Riley Gaines.
Yeah.
You know what she did? She sent me a big jar of honey.
Oh.
Right.
Uh-huh.
It's huge.
Wait for the punchline.
There's no punchline.
Okay. All right.
She sent me a big jar of honey. I had it last week, but you weren't
I
here.
guess you sent her more than we did. I think we gave her $20.
We got a little tiny jar, honey.
No, we got nothing.
I gave her more than that. Put it that way. I gave Trump so much money. He sent back a check. I gave him. He said I gave you too much. I gave you too much. So I said fine. And he said he sent me back this money, and he gave me an extra $100. I guess the tip. I wonder if it's tax free yet. No,
We've already been talking about that, right?
Yeah.
But from now on, instead of charging my clients 33 1/3%, to represent them, I'm going to charge them 1%, and the rest will be the tip.
Yeah, well, maybe that's a good idea, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
That's one of the best ideas you've ever had, I bet.
I have an idea for a while.
Besides Pat. So what am I? You guys are getting me all mixed up.
It's our job.
I know. Well, you're doing a good job. The Speaker of the House. Did you know that he need not be a member of Congress?
Yeah.
And that Elon Musk or anybody like maybe, even Mark McCluskey or Pat McCluskey could be the Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
And it looks like this current one isn't going to last.
No, he's toast.
He's toast. Yeah, he's toast.
Senator Mike Lee was on Fox last night suggesting that it'd be either Elon or Vivek. And he says, Elon's a little busy. He's got 54 companies he's running and going to Mars and all this kind of stuff, kind of land on the moon. So maybe Vivek should take the job. But you got Senator Mike Lee, one of the best conservative senators, advocating for Vivek Ramaswamy to be, Speaker of the House. I love it.
I think we're great. His business partner is in St. Louis. He's my lawyer, Vivek Patel. You know him?
No.
He's at Phoenix.
Oh, Sandberg, Phoenix.
Yeah. Right downtown.
Huh?
Yeah,
I'll be damned.
Yeah. Anyways, they're business partners, both from India. Anyways, so you would. Here's what I think ought to be a big deal. Somebody should have be a chairman of the committee that makes elections honest again.
Yeah, make elections honest.
And I'm thinking of my next guest, or two guests away, and that would be Jeff Zink. Yeah. Now he has been actually he's like in second or third place of being the assistant to Robert F. Kennedy.
Huh.
Believe that? So, but they got to straighten him out because he's, he was a 1-6 arrestee, or his son was.
Yeah.
And they wanted to know about his FBI clearance. He says, I don't have one right now. Yep. He says, but if you guys pardon me, and my son, who by the way was convicted of 2 felonies and never went into the building. Yeah. Never went into the building. Some DC cop lied and said he killed Sicknick.
Yeah.
Cop.
Yeah. Okay. I was talking to Ryan yesterday. I'm now that
you talking to Ryan?
Oh yeah.
Zink?
Yeah. And he and I have known each other for a long time now. In fact, we were both down there at the Eagle Pass rally last spring. But I'm trying to start organizing people for their compensation, because once Trump gets elected, gets sworn in, and he starts pardoning these people, then we're going to need to set up a compensation program so that all these people like Ryan Zink, who's not just arrested but put in solitary and tortured, that these people deserve some reasonable compensation.
And also, the judge had to drop the felonies, but they kept the other charges in, and he put him in the jail for that.
Yeah. Here's the reason Ryan Zink got put in prison. He was filming his dad for his dad's campaign, for Jeff's campaign, and he was videoing the agents provocateur, right? The confidential agents. And so the government seized all his memory cards and seized his camera, and have never given that up yet. And so he had the goods on the government. They go into that case claiming that he was personally responsible, as you said, for the death of Capitol Policeman Brian Ziznik, and that he was a ringleader of the insurrection. They admit on the first day of trial both of those things were lies, and he was never even in the Capitol building. But Judge Boasberg says, look, you're guilty. You can put on a defense if you want to, but you're guilty.
Amazing.
That's justice in America these days.
Yeah, and you still got 1,300 of them in jail cells in D.C., and they're still arresting people. Is that right?
And that'll end on January 20th.
Yeah. So what do we do? What do we do with these people? What do we do with Cheney and the rest of the people that have propagated this?
Well, to the extent that Liz Cheney and Adam Schiff and all these folks, Nancy Pelosi, have destroyed evidence, and criminal exculpatory evidence, that's a crime. I mean, they ought to be prosecuted for obstruction of justice. Some of these people, like Mark Milley, for example, if we go broader, ought to actually be prosecuted for treason. I mean, when Milley staged that coup on January the 5th of 2021 and said, if Trump says he's going to invade China, we'll give him a heads up. And then he had all of his chiefs swear allegiance to him, Mark Milley, and not the president. I mean, that's treason. That's a coup.
Yeah, there's so many things there. And yet Biden is set to pardon them like he did with Hunter. Even Hunter's case is suspicious because it goes back to 2014. And all the time in between there, when he wasn't even president, he didn't have the power to do that, did he?
Yeah, and it gets worse. Well, here, let me mention this just for the consuming public out there. Just because Joe Biden pardons these people, that may eliminate the federal government's ability to prosecute them. It won't eliminate the state governments from prosecuting them, and it won't eliminate the ability of individuals to sue them in civil court for the damages they've done. People like Peter Navarro, for example, or Steve Bannon, or Mike Flynn, or all these guys that were prosecuted by the deep state. All these guys can still continue to bring those actions.
Or Bannon, right?
Yeah.
He's another one.
Yeah,
sure. That's amazing. So, anyways,
and right now, the FBI, DOJ are just refusing to turn over any documents to Congress. They're refusing to testify. How come Alejandro Mayorkas doesn't go to prison for 4 months like Steve Bannon or Peter Navarro for refusing to cough up the documents?
What's his name? McCarcass? The guy, the border guy. Right.
Mayorkas.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
This guy is guilty as hell for a lot of different things.
And he's just thumbing his nose at Congress. He says, "No, I'm not going to. I don't care what you say. We're not producing the documents, and I'm not going to testify."
Yeah. So then they expect to get away with it. I don't believe that's going to happen under Trump. Do you? I think they got to be scared.
I hope that Trump doesn't do what he did last time. I hope he doesn't just say, "Okay, now we're going to get on with things and let Hillary off the hook." There's got to be some consequence. You know why people don't like government? People don't like government because there's never any consequences. No one actually ever goes to jail. They have hearings, they send out stern letters, but nobody actually ever goes to jail. Nobody has to pay the price. It's time for that to turn around.
Okay. Where's mine?
I think you get to share.
Oh, I've got a gentleman here, and he's a state representative, and his name is Don Mayhew. And my God, he just came in, and my whole, are we okay? It blacked out for a minute. You came in and you blacked it out. All right. Anyways, these are the McCluskeys.
It's that drone.
Hey, Don, how you doing?
Mark and Patricia McCluskey.
Hey, Mark and Pat, how are you?
You know them?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You know him?
We go way back.
Everybody knows Don Mayhew.
Jeez. I bet you many in law enforcement might know him. I don't know about that.
Didn't bring my rubber boots today, Mark.
Yeah.
So go easy on that.
All right. So, anyways, other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people call and hire you?
Well, it's McCloskeylaw.com, McCloskeylaw.com. Our phone number is 314-721-4000. And you know, if you Google my name right now, it'll say Mark McCloskey is a former personal injury lawyer. For 4 years, if you Googled the McCloskey Law Center, it said permanently closed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've never been closed, but we have been canceled. But we're uncanceling ourselves, and we're out there to represent anybody with serious personal injury, wrongful death cases. It's what I've been doing for 39 years.
So you're gonna come out smelling like a rose. That's Patricia. I don't know how you smell with all those horses and stuff. So, anyways,
hey, Mark, what about malicious prosecution? Are you representing anybody on that stuff?
Well, you know, I was just talking to Dave, people like Ryan Zink that have been persecuted by the January 6th committee. Yeah, I was talking to Ryan about that yesterday. And a lot of these people, malicious prosecution, including those McCloskey guys up in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to hang out? I don't care.
You know, unfortunately, Dave, we've got to run. This is you are the last bit of business we're doing before we're on vacation until after the New Year's.
Oh, well, you gotta listen to this then. You know, the cops called me and asked me why I wasn't. I didn't answer the stealing of my wife's credit card. I said, well, the thieves were spending half as much as my wife. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark and Pat McCluskey. And they admitted knowing Don Mayhew. Oh, my God.
Well, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, and we will see you after the next year.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas,
Don.
All right, so I go right now to God. This show is like amazing.
It's bang.
Bang, bang. Yeah. You're early, aren't you?
I'm a little early.
That's all right. No.
Well, you know, I'm not on state rep time yet, which you know what state rep time is, right? If you're 15 minutes late, you're 20 minutes early.
Yeah, so. Okay. Well, I wasn't familiar with that, but I'm glad you're here. You know, a man whose education was based on the search for which came first, the chicken or the egg roll. He's an engineer, a farmer, and he is also a Missouri State representative. Where we have Don Mayhew.
You know what? I really like it when amateurs write their own stuff. It's it's cute.
Well, yeah, I am kind of an amateur, and I'm the oldest amateur alive, I think. 76 years old, and I'm still doing.
Well,
this.
how are you otherwise?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Look at, I got Santa Claus wife.
Yeah.
You know, I've stolen her from Santa Claus. So
yeah.
Okay, that's icky.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got an even weirder one.
Oh,
here.
You're bringing out the best, Don.
That's what I do, right?
Oh, Santa,
what?
Mrs. Claus is so pretty. Your suit is beautiful. Have you lost weight? Your toys are really great this year. That was Larry the Brown-Nosed Reindeer. You kind of saved me. You didn't like that one?
Oh,
God.
Is that the way the rest of the show is going to go? There's not going to be anything
I got more.
substantive here.
I got more. I ate at a restaurant in Prague, but I couldn't afford the check.
So we're really... We're really not going to be useful for the listener today.
You know,
we have to.
You know, sniffing rosemary increases your memory by 75%.
Oh my! You're not telling this joke, are you?
I know that because her slap haunts me to this day.
Okay. I thought we were getting rid of the sniffers.
Okay, so. I want to know, you know, Trump says he tested the fence and all that.
Uh-huh.
He had mountain climbers testing a plate on top of the fence that he had built.
Right.
And he says they all fell off. What the hell happened to them? I mean, did these guys
climbers?
get killed?
Oh,
yeah, mountain climbers.
Mountain climbers fall 20 feet all the time. That's none.
Is that 20 feet?
Probably. I mean, the one I saw was 20 feet.
I mean, I was trying to figure.
I should get a lawyer back,
and so they could, try some of these cases.
Yeah, I told you I went down to the wall, didn't I?
I think you did. Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about that
It was
online or not.
the wall in a bar or something, or
no? This was the wall down along the Rio Grande River in McAllen, Texas.
All right. So what happened there?
Yeah, so there's a wall, and there's about 100-foot hole in it, and so there's a farmer who farms on the other side of the wall between the river and the levee wall where the actual barrier wall is at. And so we were sitting here looking at this, and I'm saying, and they put this electronic gate, this big, probably $10 million gate, so he could go back and forth with his security card. And then right next to the gate is this big empty 100-foot hole in the fence. Well, he came out and he was talking to us, what are you doing and all that. And we told him, and I said, so why'd they bother with the electric gate if there's going to be this big old 100-foot hole in the fence anyway? And he goes, well, that 100-foot hole wasn't in there. He said, this fence has been here since Clinton was president. But he said the Biden administration came down and cut that 100-foot hole in the fence. And I said, what? And he goes, yeah. So he said, it was complete, and you could see for miles either direction. It was a fence except for this one spot where there's a 100-foot hole in the fence. Well, so it makes kind of sense because right across.
So what's the punchline? I'm thinking the joke here.
Well, I thought this was
the guy has. Wait a minute. The guy has to use his car to get in and out.
Yes.
And right next to him is a hole he could walk through.
He could drive his tractor.
So why would he have to use that thing? I mean,
well, he doesn't. It's permanently latched up, so he doesn't have to use his card anymore. Okay. Because the reality is that there's only one reason for the 100-foot hole in the fence, and that's to make it easier for people to come through it. And it's not.
Well, if you had any sense of humor at all, you would have made that into a joke, and I would have laughed my ass off.
Well, I wish that we could joke about those things, but we really can't.
Well, you have to. I mean, you know what? There's so many things you can't laugh at. It's like you're woke. You have to laugh at life, and you have to. I believe that, even if it's self-deprecating. Obviously, there's some limits, but I don't know what they are. After all, you can't be a stand-up comic anymore because you're going to offend somebody.
Right. Exactly. Well, except in your case, you offend everybody all the time. You're equal opportunity offender. So
I'm okay with that. I do.
Yeah, and a repeat offender too, I might add.
Yeah, but my stuff, these are all original jokes.
I can tell.
Oh, I got more. You want to hear? No. Anyways,
Dave, let me say something real quick. Even if they
ahead.
weren't original, nobody's going to sue you over using them.
I don't understand. Is he saying they're not worthy of even being sued for? I'm safe. Like I feel really good about that, actually. All right, less attorney bills. Anyways, a woman gets a pig kidney. This is not a joke. Replacement and walks out of the hospital. Now is that's for kidneys?
I could actually turn that into a joke, but I'm not that brave.
I won't tell anybody. All right, let's take this off now, off key. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I know about those open mic things.
No, it's not. It wasn't a joke. No, you actually have a pig kidney inserted into this woman who I think had given one of her kidneys to her father, who eventually died. But this pig kidney, and she walks out of the hospital.
Well,
the next day. Wow.
But as far as I can remember, we've been using the valves out of pig hearts for to help people out with heart issues. So
yeah.
So
have you ever heard of this?
Yes, I have.
All right. She's a cowgirl, right?
Worked at the hog auction too.
Yeah,
and worked at the hog auction, right?
Okay. I don't know how
He's got nothing there.
He's got nothing. No.
And she's dressed as Santa Claus. Santa Claus's wife.
Yeah.
Well, there's something there.
That's festive.
Yeah.
That is festive. Yeah.
It's festive. It's also cheating on me.
What?
She's Santa Claus's wife. She says so.
We already said this was icky.
Yeah, we weren't going down that road. Remember?
I know. But
Move along.
It makes me a little hot under the collar.
Move along. You got any content there today?
Hot. Yeah, I got plenty.
Is that so?
Senate-
That what you were up late last night or something?
Senate
This
Democrats,
is the best you could do.
Senate Democrats want a quick deal with GOP by going along with Trump's border war, both closing it and sending illegals back.
Is there some eggnog here
I don't
somewhere?
know. Apparently there is. I don't know. I wrote this early.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
After you had a quart or two of eggnog,
probably.
right?
I think it was vodka. I guess. You know,
Well, now that's
it's a time to be merry. All right, it's a time to be Santa Claus's wife, even though you're not a Santa Claus's wife.
Well, before they started
and
making-
I'm here, and I'm having. Last night it was. Do you want a drink? I says, no, I don't want a drink. And I hear ice cubes going into the cups, and she says, "You sure you don't want a drink?" I says, "All right, I'll have a drink." So I had a drink, and I had cheese and crackers for dinner. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. But there was no eggnog. Sorry.
No eggnog. No, but
Well,
I did have a drink.
Since they started making this virgin eggnog, nobody even knows what real eggnog tastes like anymore.
Virgin eggnog.
Yeah, you buy it at the store.
You got to put in your own liquor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's sugar. It's mostly sugar.
Oh my God.
It is mostly sugar.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Yes.
You're like a farmer. You ever? Well, you are a farmer, right?
I am a farmer's bank.
You're
I
farmer's
fund
what?
I fund farming.
You
A
fund farming.
version, some version of farming.
You
I
have
fund.
you have chickens
No.
on your property. Am I wrong?
I want to make sure that
I want to know.
you understand.
Now I think there needs to
those
be
are
an
not-
investigation.
Those are not my chickens. Those belong to my wife's LLC.
Wait. I'll do what I do with my wife.
No, she doesn't really. It's a limited opportunity corporation.
Yeah.
LOC. Okay.
got-
Now, what's your question?
Why
about
was
the
it?
chickens?
Why was that important to add?
Because I didn't want to give the false impression that I am in agribusiness. I'm in agri hobby.
Agri hobby.
Yeah.
So do you help her out with the chickens, sir?
Only financially.
Do you gather the eggs?
Oh no. No.
Do you sell the eggs?
Absolutely not. I give them away. You know that.
I know. I'm asking.
Yes.
Yes. And when you give them away, how do you account for them?
How do I?
By the
count?
way, this is the last egg I ever get from him.
Is this? Are you now working for the IRS or something? Those are my charitable contributions.
I think I had one guy tell me because we needed to get his signature on something. He says, "Well, the IRS is closed. They closed themselves about a year ago." Okay,
Boarded
I
up.
says, so I sent them these big checks a couple weeks ago, and they cashed them.
Somebody's
so it wasn't
cashing
them. It wasn't
Somebody's
them.
cashing them.
How about that? You know anything about that?
No, but I do know this. I have
Yes.
a resolution that I'm filing on the
Yes.
first day of session that basically encourages the federal government, the U.S. Congress, to abolish the 17th Amendment and requires then the states to collect all taxes, and then we would pay them, our pro rata share of the budget. And any year that they did not pass a budget, then the states wouldn't be obligated to submit their franchise fee.
Okay, so any year that who didn't?
The federal government doesn't pass a budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now we're working on the budget for this year, right?
Well, we hope so,
Coming up.
right? We
And
hope
it's
that
not-
they are working on a budget.
Do we want them just to do anything? Mr. Republican?
To do anything?
Donald
Well,
Trump in office?
they're kind of required by the Constitution
Yeah.
to do certain things, and one of them is a federal budget.
Okay, but they're not going to have it done for a while. They're going to have to close the government. What does that mean to you?
No, and it was going to take a little while to get rid of the 17th Amendment, but I freely admit that. But
Well, how many don't you have to have like a 67% in Congress or something
I'm
like
sending
that?
this around to every state. Every state
I know.
can file the same
Answer
thing.
the question. How many people out of Congress need to vote to get rid of the 17th Amendment?
3/4. No, I'm sorry.
No.
67%.
67%. Sir.
Vote to get rid of. Then 3/4 of the states have to.
Which is never going to happen, right?
What? Are you kidding me? If
how much pork? Now we're going back to kidneys and all that stuff. How much pork do you think is in the federal government right there?
I submit to you that there are states that we would call bluish or purplish that would pass that amendment in a heartbeat.
Why?
And I think that there's at least 3/4 of them that would do that. Well, Donald Trump got 213 electoral votes. How many electoral votes did he get?
I thought it was 239 or something. No. It's more than that. It takes
no.
270.
300. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 312 or something like that. Yeah,
whatever it was.
Yeah,
more than the 270 required. I apologize for my mistake.
Now you're a mathematician, aren't you? An engineer.
I'm an engineer.
Why am I having so much trouble figuring you out?
Well, in any case,
yes.
So with that many electoral votes, so that puts you certainly in the realm of 3/4. That would be 2/3 for sure, and really close to 3/4 right there.
Okay.
So if he's got those electoral votes from those states,
yeah,
then one would think that we could pass something like that, ratify something like that.
Well, I think you got a great message there, because right now they're about to get rid of Johnson, who is the current Speaker of the House, and there are a bunch of Republicans that voted against
30 some odd of them. Yeah.
What President Trump has approved, and they're saying they're saying this is even too much for us. They're not going against the president. They're saying he didn't do enough.
And so, I mean, I can see the argument on both sides, right?
What's the argument? What's the argument for the Dems?
For the Dems?
Yeah.
Well, the Dems don't have an argument, right?
Well, no, you said you could explain the argument for both sides.
No, both sides of the Republican caucus. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see the strategy of we get this CR out of the way,
right,
and then we're not dealing with it whenever we're wanting to do the Trump agenda,
right,
which includes, by the way, balancing the budget, right?
Right.
Okay. And the other side saying, well, that's just kicking the can down the road. Let's take care of it right. Let's do it now. Well, so it'd be problematic. Either way is problematic. You're going to have resistance either way, no matter what.
Yeah.
So I think, but most of us Americans out here who are paying attention, perhaps those 30 some odd folks represent different people, but the reality is what we want to see done is a clean CR.
Yeah.
And that's a continuing resolution, right? That just allows us to write checks with the credit card, admittedly, but we're running the whole stinking government on a credit card right now anyway.
Yeah.
Until we get to the point where we return to regular order in the United States Congress,
right,
where we are actually passing a budget, approved by both chambers, and then that's the budget that we stick with, right? We're not creating money out of whole cloth, running the printing presses off every time we need to go buy some votes. But I think most of us realize that the CR gets us to the point where we can start talking about balancing the budget, right? So let's get that off the plate so that the first 3 months of Trump's administration isn't ate up with this shut down the government thing. Well, I'm going to be the first one to agree that the amount of work we get out of the federal government is the same whether or not they're at work or not. In fact, it probably works out in our favor if they're not at work.
Exactly.
But the truth is, at some point, somebody has got to do something.
Yeah.
And the smart money right now, I think, is with absolutely doing a clean CR. Well, you saw what it started out with.
What do you mean a clean CR?
No pork in it.
No pork, nothing.
Right.
They're just the basics are still keeping the government open. Is that correct?
We're just writing paychecks.
All right, just the basics.
Just
we're writing
paychecks.
checks. You don't have any money, but people will cash them anyways and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how long do you think this will last? And who's going to be the one to bend over first and say, "Okay, go do it"?
I'm not sure of the bend over analogy there. I'm trying to figure out a way to.
I know it's a
get
little
that
bit
one
much
worked
for
in.
you. I realize.
Try to get that worked into the conversation, but
who's gonna
excuse me?
Who's gonna want to end the debate on who's going to give up first?
Okay, so let's do it from this standpoint.
Yeah.
We don't have a supermajority in the United States Congress, right? So anything, because we're always going to have defectors on our side of the aisle, right? They're all, because here's the thing: everybody hates Congress because they, waste too much money, right? Until you start talking to them about their congressman, and they love their congressman. Why do they love their congressman? Because he brought all this pork to their district, right? Okay, so the American people got to get over that, right? You just got to get over that, because that's adding to the problem. And so here's the reality. We take a clean CR to push us out, and then everybody's got to agree that we're cutting programs.
Right.
And as what was his name? He was a senator from Wyoming. He had the best line I've ever heard. He said when he was a young
I remember
congressperson, Alan, what was his name? Alan, at any rate.
Bald-headed guy.
Yeah.
I remember.
So at any rate, he said he was a young congressman, and he put in the this thing about cutting program, and he said he was riding in an elevator with someone who had been there for a while.
Yeah.
And who he thought was on his side. And he said, "Hey, young man, now you're getting into my pocket," right?
Yeah.
He said, "Let me tell you something. You don't get reelected around this place by cutting programs. You get reelected around this place by creating new ones."
Right.
And so he said that. Alan Simpson, is that it? Alan Simpson.
Yeah, so
thank you very much. Yeah, he was a pretty sharp character, but he said that's what's wrong with Washington, and he's 100% correct. Right?
Okay, but you didn't answer the question.
Okay,
who in your brilliant mind do you think is going to give in first, and why will they do it? For example, you now have a very strong election, a very strong mandate from the American people.
Yep.
They kicked ass. Trump kicked ass all over the place. You got people coming. He doesn't have to leave Mar-a-Lago.
Right.
They're coming in to see him, all the biggest billionaires around.
Yeah.
All right. When he went to Notre Dame, they everybody was looking at him. Even Joe Biden was looking at him like, "Oh my God!" Like they're also. He says, "Even I don't understand it, Trump," but he has somehow managed, via all this torture he got and getting hit in the head with a bullet. And coming out of it saying, "Fight, fight, fight," to be recognized as somebody who's a little different than other politicians. And he is. So I'm saying they're in a very strong spot.
Because remember what happened to Job, right?
Huh?
You remember what happened to Job, right?
Yeah,
he was persecuted and tormented for a while, and he came out of it pretty darn good.
He stole too much out of the Walgreens in L.A. Wasn't that right? Isn't that right?
What?
Isn't that Job?
No? Not the same.
No,
Job.
no. Okay,
No.
I don't understand.
That's one of your friends, Job.
Well, yeah, he was a friend until he did that.
And he's actually talking about
caught.
Old Testament stuff.
I know.
Exactly.
I know. So what does it got to do with anything? What does it got to do with it?
I think that's even in your book. Job
if
is
it's
in
the
your
Old
book,
Testament,
too.
yes, it is. How about the Old Testament of Donald Trump being ordained by God because he was hit in the right ear with blood. He had blood in his right ear. He had blood on his right thumb, and he had blood on his right big toe. That's how Moses ordained Aaron. Look in was it?
I'm going to have to take your word for that one. I don't remember that. But,
well, excuse me. You're going to do Bible stuff.
I'm going to go read it.
All right, Exodus with God saying how you should maintain slaves and not maintain slaves and what you have to do and all that. Are you familiar with that one? No. Okay.
No, because of the 14th Amendment.
What's that?
You look it up for Pete's sake.
You don't know what you're talking about. So would you answer the question, please? Who's going to break first and who ought to break first and give up?
So we're going to end up with a clean CR. I'm fully confident. It's
When?
already down to 110 pages, right?
Well, yeah, something like that.
Well, from 1,100 pages.
From 1,500. Yes.
Yeah.
Give or take 400. But I know to you that's no big deal, but
that's an average bill for me. But
well, yeah, yeah.
But that's only because I got to make them bureaucrat proof, right? If you want to, because you know how this works, right?
I know I'm not getting an answer to my question.
I'm getting to it. If you'll just let me get to it. So we'll write a bill up in Jeff City that's a paragraph long, and that'll turn into 2,500 pages of regulation. Now, the same thing in Washington, D.C. Consumes about 2 truckloads of paper, right? And so, but on the thing on the CR, Donald Trump really doesn't have anything to do with that. Certainly not yet. But even if he does. No, even if he did, even if he was in office now, it's not Trump's deal. It's the Congress, because I don't know if you know
but he's got. You think Elon Musk said that on his own? No, he's getting information from Donald Trump.
Well, no, but they're offering friendly advice from the gallery.
He has power that's assumed by his position.
If I was in his position, I would say, look at how many votes I got and look how many votes you boys got.
Yeah, exactly.
Now
where's your future?
Yeah,
other than maybe a courtroom under my DOJ.
But he is actually for the clean CR.
Okay, fine.
Right? That's really what he wants to do.
Right.
And so, but the first things we need to do, get out of the gate, is that he needs to address the border immediately, and Congress is willing to do that. Even the Dems, I think, most of them that are in those purple districts and saw how many votes he won by, have got to be looking at their political future and saying, hey, maybe I need to come back to the middle here a little bit. So what I'm saying is that all of those things are going to encourage Congress to do the right thing, because the first thing we got to do out of the gate, without any doubt, everybody agrees, is that you got to address the border problem, period, exclamation point. I think we got we got all the votes we need on that. I think it ain't that they won't drag it out, right? Because we know they will. But pity the fool who votes against the border bill, right? That person just made themselves a target. Just go look at the polls. I would remind those folks, even on the other side of the aisle, go look at the polls in your district and tell me you're going to vote against Trump's border bill.
Yeah.
It ain't that there won't be some compromising going on there. I'm sure there'll have to be a little bit of pork added to it to sweeten the pot, do all those things that we already know Congress is going to do. Well, then we're going to move. Well, it may be flipped over from this, and probably the border money is going to be a what do they call that whenever they don't have to have a majority in the Senate. Why am I drawing a blank here, JP? But
you're looking at me and you're getting nervous.
It's budget related. So if it's a budget thing, they don't have to have 60 votes in the Senate to pass it. Okay, so at any rate,
what do they have to have? 50?
Nope, simple majority for those.
51.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Something resolution.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. But in any case,
except you.
So you fund the border bill with that part of it. Then you work on the budget, right? And finally, for once, we have a budget. It probably won't be balanced, but at least we've got a budget. So we're going to return to regular order. And that's truthfully what is wrong with the United States Congress right now. And we can point to a lot of other things, but they're all symptoms of that one thing where we're not in regular order, where we are doing things that are not the traditional way we do them, or not even the constitutional way of doing it. We're supposed to do a budget every year. When was the last time that the United States Congress passed a budget?
Well, it's one of his old terms, I think.
Nope. They didn't pass a single budget during Obama's.
Really?
Nope. Not one time.
So everything was. So how did they know
continuing
what to do?
Resolutions?
All the way through.
All the way through.
And how long did they go for those?
What?
I mean, would there be like? So is there not a law that don't you have to?
There's a constitution that says you got to have a budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you don't pass one, well, where's the penalty? Who sends the cops over and arrest them for not passing a budget?
Well, if it's anti-constitutional, isn't that a law in itself? If I take away your guns, don't you have a right to have me punished?
Well, so it goes to the Supreme Court. They took away my guns. Supreme Court says you got to give them back. They give them back to me. Who goes to jail?
If I stole it from you, me.
I know, but the Constitution doesn't have penalty provisions in it for the government violating your constitutional rights.
Okay, they rule on it, and they refer it down to the local court.
And they give you your guns back, but nobody ever gives you the $2.5 million it took for you to get that thing to the Supreme Court.
Okay, well, that's screwed up, isn't it?
It is, absolutely is.
And you're guys in government. Yes, we need a break. All right, listen, I got to take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
So you're welcome to stay. I got Jeff Zink coming on next.
Oh yeah, good.
You might want to stay for that one.
I got to check
because you got nothing to do.
I got to check my busy schedule.
Hit it.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our #1 goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
With warmer temperatures right around the corner and allergies ramping up, now's the time to get those AC units serviced. At Hartley's, we pride ourselves in offering outstanding service with fast response times. With proper maintenance, you can make those hot days be a lot cooler and remove those pesky allergens that always seem to find their way into your home. Call us today so you can be living a much cooler and healthier life. Hartley's, community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word? But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is 2 words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our #1 goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day. A-Car Real Estate, where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the #1 sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have.
Gotta reach 'em, see it right now.
Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
At Town & Country Bank, we are committed to providing exceptional service to our customers. We do more than just provide loans for our community. We help make dreams become reality. Whether it's a new home, farm, business, or a new car, we would love the opportunity to help. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly lending team remind you how special hometown banking can be. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with a friend of mine, and I have a friend of mine lingering in the offices, Don Mayhew, and we had for a while we had the McCluskeys on, and they had to go somewhere, you know. So who knows? He's important, and we're not. This man is a kinesiologist. I love saying that. He's a pastor. He's up for being assistant secretary to RFK HHS, an expert on forensic elections and a witness to the 1-6 fraud. Please welcome, all the way from Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, I believe, Jeff.
That's where I'm at.
Jeff, this is Don Mayhew.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Don. How you doing?
I was just down there here a month and a half back or so.
Really?
Yeah, I took a ride in a driverless car. Yeah.
We have those. It's I just sit in amazement that we even allow that to happen.
Well, is there any danger in it? I mean, do they crash or what?
Well, we've got one person that was behind the wheel here in Phoenix that was it was supposed to be driving, and but they're supposed to be alert and awake as if they are driving the whole time. Well, the person was on their phone texting or playing a game or doing something, and a person was hit. They had a bicycle and everything, and it was at night, and it hit the person, put them in the hospital and stuff, and there was a whole big deal. And it shows that the person gets hit, and then the person, throws the phone up and, trying to figure out what had happened. And of course it's recorded. So you can see in the recording where it hits the person, and you can see them out of the corner of your eye, there. But
was it a Tesla?
Yeah, it's no, it's I don't pay attention to them that closely.
Well,
the one that I was riding in, they are completely driverless. There's no one.
Well,
you're not
even with
behind
you
the
on the wheel, it would still be
it was
completely
well,
driverless.
it was pretty cool.
So,
But,
okay.
I just
Uh,
I wanted to finish
yeah.
up that one
All right.
one piece of old business real
I got
quick.
old business with this guy.
So
it's taken him. It's taken him already like over a half an hour to answer one question.
Reconciliation.
Reconciliation.
It's reconciliation that you can do less than 60 votes.
So
in the Senate.
eventually, it's going to get done.
Yeah, because you'll do the budget reconciliation
Right.
thing, and it'll get
And
done.
did you know that during the Obama years, we had absolutely no budgets passed by the government? Jeff?
Oh, I thought you and Bill were still talking.
Yeah, no.
No,
he told me that. I thought it was one of the most interesting things he's ever told me.
I'm a lot better looking.
It is that it is interesting in the fact that the Republicans at the time was actually actively going against the Democrats instead of what they've now done is rectify that, and now they just go against just Donald Trump.
Yeah, the 30 or so out there. It's because Trump wanted this this short version of whatever the Democrats wanted. It's like 1,110 pages now versus 1,500 pages. So now they, but there's still some Republicans out there who won't vote for it. So how's Ryan doing? Let's get back to important stuff. How's Ryan?
Ryan's home. He's with his girls. His lovely bride and his 5-month-old baby daughter, and doing good. And the thing that's really interesting is that the probational officer who basically, well, I'm a pastor, so I won't use the words I'm actually thinking of right now towards him. Is preventing him from getting a job. He can't get a job in the oil field because he says that he can't be mobile the way that he would be in the oil field. Yet he can drive all the way outside to either Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, or El Paso, but he can't go inside of that to work a job. And so, and he's got, he has to pay $500 restitution. They're saying, well, when are you going to pay this? And he goes, I got to get a job first. You're not letting me have a job. And so he said, I tell you what, I'll pay it on January the 21st. So,
we just had the McCluskeys here.
I like that.
And they mentioned Ryan right away. I guess is he representing Ryan?
No, I've kept Mark. Mark and I have been talking back and forth, and he's kept up with the case and stuff. And here's what's really interesting. So now what has happened is that we've had a second agency that has come out and said that they now had paid informants and agents on Capitol grounds. So there's a second agency now, and the thing is that there's 16 3-letter agencies in our federal government. And I'm guessing that when we finally get all of them out there where they have to give the information, we're going to find out that probably every one of them had informants and agents on the ground, and the other thing too, which we've stated, and you can go back to the original time where you and I first started meeting, and I made the statement that Ryan took pictures of the Ukrainian special forces. Right. Well, since then that came out, and that's been proven to be true, and so all the
pictures.
He did, but they had to admit that they destroyed all of the pictures and videos on Ryan's camera.
Amazing. Okay, so he's semi out. So you're saying he's not being represented by
Mark?
Yeah.
No. That's not Mark's forte.
So,
Mark's forte
will Trump wait to pardon you and Ryan to force Congress to to force their hand on your approval?
Well, they did say it was going to be a case by case basis. Now, I have made the statement that what every J6er that has been persecuted and been wrapped up in this deal should receive, and the number is 1776, 2020, and 6 cents. Which is $17 million, 762. So you can kind of figure it out yourself how much money is available for each one of them that the federal government's going to have to put. But also for those that have been incarcerated, they get an additional $1,000 a day.
Yeah.
If it comes out that they were in isolation during that time, it's $10,000 a day that they're in isolation. And then if they have violated the Geneva Convention, which most of our prisoners have been tortured, that's an extra $5 million for that individual for having their rights and the Geneva Convention. Basically, they've trampled on the Constitution and the human rights aspect of how you humanely treat prisoners, and I consider them a prisoner of war. That we're going to have to actually say that this Fedsurrection was a attack of the federal government toward the people.
Fedsurrection. Fedsurrection. I like that word. You invented it.
Fedsurrection.
Fedsurrection. Sort of like the word I invented a couple years ago. Libyate.
Well, and that's pretty close. I mean, that's or libtard.
Hey, that's yours. That ain't mine. So tell me again about McCluskey is telling me that he's doing this stuff. He's setting it all up. He mentioned your son's name on.
Oh yeah, he is working on trying to have a defense. One of the things that's really interesting is that we have a lot of the attorneys that are helping, and trying to work with J6ers and the attorneys that are there. And so that's one of the things that is so helpful. And he may be doing that. With me going through this process, I have literally I thought I was busy running for Congress since the election, and this process of what I've been doing, going through the hiring process of being the Assistant Secretary of Health. I have literally had meetings almost every day, lengthy meetings. I've had to do research. We put together a PowerPoint presentation. I have had to, map out a structure for how we're going to get rid of PBMs, which are the middleman, the broker between the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies on regards to managing the pharmaceuticals there. And to give you an idea, so if somebody had cancer, and let's say that the cost for that cancer treatment is $25,000 a month. We have a system in place that we can now take some of the greatest minds there, and we can, instead of using the name brand products, let's do generics that have been proven.
Yeah.
Then let's do this. It's really simple, Dave. We're going to take your blood. We're going to look at all of the cursors for cancer. And we're going to say, okay, well, you have precursors for this type of cancer that can develop as you grow older. We can also take a look at, because we know your chronological age, but we can find out what your biological age is, what your body actually is, so that you can sit down, And when they did that to me, they said, well, you're a 62-year-old man in a 93-year-old body. No, I'm kidding.
I just took a breath test this morning where it has like a clock, and it starts you at like age 90 something or 80.
Dave, the ones the police give you are not for.
That I was going to say
Yeah,
that's not the one that
was a whole
Those aren't
different
now.
thing.
and that was starting your car is not the same.
Yes, I wasn't exactly. I wasn't convicted yet. So stop saying that. No, this is something that you hold your breath. It sees how it tests you how long it's got a little circular thing, and each time it comes down to 80, 70, 60, 50. I kept it through till I was like 21, and it was the end of it.
And the machine spits out a fortune at the bottom.
No. This was on X. X really is now truthful. You got to believe everything you read on X. What's the matter with him? Jeez.
Anyways. Well, one of the things that's really interesting, and I'm gonna call out X and Elon Musk, and then if you go to my X account, I have under or just barely over 1,000 followers. Wow. Now I've run 2 congressional races. I've been on national television. I have been on multiple, multi-million viewers, such as Dave's show and stuff. And I've asked people to follow me. And the thing is that at one point I had like 2,000 or 3,000. And then all of a sudden I got pushback. I work all the way up to about 2,000 or 3,000. I go back to 1,000. And so I'm back down to 1,000 again.
Really?
And I've been calling out Elon, and I'm going to say, hey, look, I'm being shadow banned and stuff. So one of the things that happened, because AmFest is happening right now, and that's something next year, Dave. You need to bring everybody out here to Phoenix, and you need to set up your booth, and for 4 days. You can interview people like Don Jr. Don Jr. was going around hitting all of the podcast stuff and was actually talking to them.
Is there air conditioning in Arizona?
Yes, there is. It's a great convention area, and they got hotels that have air conditioning and stuff. They got, and the thing is you don't need air conditioning right now. You can go outside because, it's an awful 72. I think it's supposed to be a high of 72 or 74 degrees this afternoon. The lows are the high 50s, like 58 and stuff. And, and the thing is, I was almost late to your show because I had to shovel so much sunshine out of my driveway to get out of the, to get to the.
It's fascinating because he's been shoveling a lot of stuff too.
Well,
hey, play that thing. Play that. We're gonna play this. You got to do this.
I like the fact that State Secret showed up on Anthony Weiner's laptop right between his porno pictures.
Oh, great. Here's something, Chris Adamo. Black on black crime is ignored if the victim is a conservative. Yeah. Okay, you got that. He's coming on next.
Yeah. We ran into him down at the
I heard
patriotism conference last week.
I heard. What's interesting about this, and we were talking about this with JJ Bradshaw, who's on the show, and he's talking about Elon Hakeem, and you're talking about Adamo, and I'm thinking, all these people that come on my show for the last 14, 15 years, they all seem to talk to each other.
Well, that's because you're the center of the universe.
Damn conspiracy is what it is. You're trying to get rid of me.
No, you're just the center of the universe. We're all bound by gravity to rotate around you.
Oh God, I'm gonna save that one. I'll put that in the clip.
That won't be the last time you hear that on this show. I can try.
Especially my wife. She'll laugh. You're a what? Yeah. Yeah, right.
That goes back.
See, that is incredible.
That goes back to I gotta take exception with some of Jeff's numbers there. He said 1,000. Well, he didn't. Yeah. He didn't account for your viewers, so that would take it up to 1,005. So
when I get here, he can't stop. Me neither. And then do Eddie Murphy for him, because it just matches.
What do you know from funny, you bastard?
Yeah, that was for you. All right.
Hey guys,
I don't even have to insult you now. I got things to insult you.
With that, I gotta go.
I
don't have to put.
Are you leaving me? Are you leaving mad?
Thank you.
You're leaving mad? Are you?
Not
Hey,
mad. Very disappointed.
I just wonder. Did you answer the question finally? I guess you did. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, I answered the question 4 different ways.
Well, here. He's probably got an egg in his hand. Oh, he cracked his egg in his hand.
Hey, Jeff,
right,
good to see you. Good to see you, and good luck.
Nice to see you too.
Don. Okay, thanks for coming in.
Merry Christmas,
Appreciate it. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Oh God. All right. Yes. He's trying to say Hanukkah, for Hanukkah. We got him talking Hebrew. Anyways, so you mentioned something that you had talked to Trump's lawyers about elections, and they were not in on that. They were just doing a general talk with you, and I know you mentioned it last time. That's why I'm mentioning it now.
Mm-hmm.
If they came and offered you a new chairman post to go into an administration as the elections czar, who would make everything legal and legal elections, that basically would be your standard. Would you consider that? That's what I always pictured you as.
Well, one of the things is, so you haven't, politics goes at the speed of light, and J.D. Vance and Elon Musk have been working on, and they've come out with a plan that is 100% cheat proof. There's no way you can cheat, and so what we're doing is we're putting together, and you're right. There are some things that is taking place that I can't talk about right now, but I can tell you that what they're going to be rolling out and what's going to be happening is going to change the way elections are going to be moving forward in our country and stuff. And so, Elon has put out some information. So I'm going to make people go to X, find Elon Musk and look at what he and J.D. Vance has put together and stuff. I'm well aware of what's happening there, but that's he actually is that person that's going to fall under Doge, and the efficiency of how our government's going to run. A lot of people don't understand, but our elections are federal. Even the down ballot of state elected officials, it's on a federal ballot. And so because of that, this is one of the reasons why the federal government is going to be able to step in, and we're going to be able to do this. The thing is that in the past, we've always had 50 elections that elect one president. The deal is that each one of the states should have its own autonomy, and you should be able to do that. But what we're going to do now is we're going to make it to where, things like, and I've caught, and how many times have I been on your show and I've called out Dominion, ES&S, Pro V&V, and the thing is that they're going to go by the wayside. We're not going to be allowing them in our country and using this. It is a way. It's computers, it's software, and whether you take a scanned image or you touch a screen.
We have a right to do this. We have a right to have dominion in our states.
Well, you won't after we get done with this, and the reason why is because they are not being compliant by the DOD. The thing is that the DOD does not have access to their software. They say that it's proprietary, to their ES&S, Pro V&V, Smartmatic, and Dominion. However, nothing with the DOD, because it is sensitive and that they have top secret clearance. They should be able to see anything that they want, and so that doesn't fly. And if they're not going to be compliant, then they cannot operate inside the United States. And this is kind of where we're headed.
All right. Well, that sounds great. Hey, listen, I'm going to cut you a little bit early because I've got all these messages. I haven't had time to talk to even one of them. So other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find you?
You can still email me. You can go to thinkzink.vote and you can email me there. But what we're asking people to do is to go to giftsandgo.com/Ryan Zink. And that's to help Ryan with his, legal fees. And now actually trying to make to pay bills because the probation officer is now not allowing him to go into the oil field where he can make money and stuff. And so he's now going to lose his house and everything else, all because of the federal government.
Amazing. You know, my psychiatrist had a sale. She said I was only half off. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Zink.
Wow.
Thank you very much, my friend.
All right. Thanks,
hi to
sir.
your son. Hi to your wife.
I
All
will.
right, take care, pal.
Say hi to Lisa.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
All right.
Christmas
Bye-bye.
to you guys.
Hey, let me look at the clips now. Not the clips, but the stuff that's been all over the place. Holy cow. Patricia Odin Maxwell, looking good, sounding good. Go team. Thank you. Chad Green. Good morning, Mr. Dave. Hi, Chad. How you doing, man? You know, he's gotten younger. He's gotten younger. Rico Camino. Good morning. Good morning, Rico.
It's funny with Chad. I actually just interviewed the person that took over his job at S&T on my show on Tuesday.
Did he really?
New
How about
S&T
that?
golf coach. So, yep.
How about that? He sounds like a pretty good catch, the other guy. Yeah. I mean, Chad was great, but, this guy's going to be pretty good, too. Roy Maddox, good morning from Oklahoma. Merry Christmas to all. Merry Christmas to you, Roy. And my good friend, Owen McNamee. Good morning, folks. He's out there pushing my show every week. Thank you so much, Owen. What a patriot he is. MD Talab Ali, hello, American. How are you? How are the great people of the United States of America? I will always pray for my dear dream honorable president, Donald J. Trump. So go ahead, USA. Thank you, MD. All right. Appreciate it. And you got any more?
We have a few more from him.
Okay.
Here's a couple.
All right. Work for your country. Always stay beside Trump's because only he make America great again. And again, happy Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to you, Talib. And we'll let it hang there for you. He's got his email there too.
Yeah, he's got one with his email. And
all right.
This one here, Lisa had to send him a comment because,
Yeah, okay.
We again want to make it clear we have no inside connection that can help get him to the inauguration on January 20th.
Contacts, no information. We wish we did.
A journalist has just said she called his phone number and he answered. Okay. MD, good morning. Who's this from?
This was Lisa's response. So we took
to Ali?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if I had it on there, I could read it.
Okay. I'll go and put it back on there real quick.
All right. Good morning. We are sorry, but we do not have any information or contacts for attending the inauguration. Wish we did. You got to come up with a lot of money, I think, to go there. Richard C. Lockwood, we know him well. Have you heard that they are serving eggs Benedict on hubcaps this year? I guess there's no place like Chrome for the hollandaise. No place like home for the holiday. What do you mean, okay? If I want to sing, I'll sing, damn it.
No, I was with his comment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was a joke. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Well, here we are. And let's, if you want to call the show, I guess it's a little late to call.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
but 2
minutes
left.
Let me see what I got in terms of other stuff that I didn't get to today. You got all these judges now. You got Fanny quitting her case. Her case is done. just what an idiot. This is completely unearned position by somebody that was an idiot. Okay, I said it. She's an idiot, and she didn't deserve to be where she was. And you got a few of those on the Supreme Court. My goodness, this one gal, I think she would be better on Hollywood. Jackson, I think her name is. I mean, she was like doing a fairy thing, and it was like she doesn't understand transgenders and all this other thing. She doesn't know what a woman is. They asked her this in her hearings for the Supreme Court. Don't know what a woman is. What the hell was that? TikTok is okay with Trump, and I think a guy named Frank McCourt is going to buy him. And LeBron, Diddy with Diddy. He's losing lots of money. Somehow he's connected to Diddy, and he's losing his ass. He had to take himself off of the out of the NBA for a while. All right, so we've got 40 seconds to go. I guess I've wasted enough time of your time, and I want you all to have a great holiday season, great Christmas and Hanukkah and whatever else you want to celebrate. And yes,
remember, we won't be here.
Yeah, we're going to be we're going to be out for the next couple weeks. We'll be back again in January 10th, I think it is, with another edition of the Dave Weinbaum Show. So you guys get out there and have some fun. All right, it's a great country that we're in. You guys have fun. Thank you.
Reach 'em, sit right down, then